It was all because I couldn't afford a 50,000 yuan designer bag. The department beauty, Liu Ruyan, broke up with me immediately and, in the blink of an eye, found herself an 80-year-old little cutie. Just as I was feeling lost and dejected, my phone rang. Looking at the unknown number on the caller ID, I didn't think much of it and answered. Hello, who is this? Hello, is this Mr. Yifan? Your wife is about to give birth. Please come to the hospital quickly to sign the papers. The voice on the other end sounded extremely anxious. What on earth? My wife is giving birth? Are you sick? I just broke up. Where would I get a wife from? Hearing this, I hung up immediately. Are scams these days really getting this sophisticated? Do they really think I'm an easy target? Calling me for everything. Getting notified I'm a father right after a breakup. Being a designated successor, taking over someone else's child, is truly too much. Even with my good temper, I couldn't hold it in. Just as I was about to tuck my phone back into my pocket, it rang again. Looking at the unknown number on the screen, I wondered what kind of day it was to get so many strange calls. I answered it casually. Yifan, it's Bai Susu. Come to the traditional Chinese medicine, TCM hospital to sign. You are the father of the child. Do you still remember that night 10 months ago? A very weak voice sounded from the other end. I recognized the owner of the voice instantly. Wasn't this the cold school beauty Bai Susu? What? I'm the father. What is going on? I was a bit confused by the situation. Wait, a night 10 months ago. It's been so long. How could I remember? I had only met Bai Susu a few times. Regardless, I had to go and see. Could it be that the school beauty was... And now I've suddenly gained a wife and children out of thin air? This feels like I'm being set up to be the fallback guy. First, I get dumped by my girlfriend, then the school beauty wants me to be the fallback guy. Could the world be any more cruel to me? I didn't have time to think. My head spinning, I rushed toward the TCM hospital. Arriving at the hospital, I went straight to the delivery room door and saw the pale face of the school beauty, Bai Susu. The sight made my heart ache. Every time I saw her before, she was always such an aloof, icy beauty. Now she looked as fragile as a white flower in the wind, seemingly on the verge of collapsing. Yifan, sign first. We can talk about things later. Bai Susu's beautiful face was covered in sweat, and she spoke without any strength. Looking at Bai Susu and seeing the urgency of the situation, I didn't think twice. I took the pen from the nurse, signed several times with a flourish, and watched as Bai Susu was pushed into the delivery room. Congratulations to the host for activating the Super Daddy system. Biological bloodline confirmed. A special reward of 4 million has been transferred to your bank card. At that moment, I felt the phone in my pocket vibrate. Pulling it out, I was shocked to see my bank balance was 4,250 yuan. I thought I was hallucinating. I rubbed my eyes and looked again. The text message was real. My God, it really was 4 million. Some people never see this much money in their lives, and here I have it. Wait, that voice in my head just now, the Super Daddy system. Isn't that the golden finger, cheat code for protagonists in novels? Reaching the pinnacle of life and marrying a beautiful rich woman is just around the corner. I was truly beyond excited. I was originally the school hunk and a top student, but society is just that realistic. People look at your background and family. They don't care about your looks or talent. Power is everything. That's why I was dumped by that gold digger Liu Ruyan. And that biological bloodline confirmation. Doesn't that mean they are my own children? So the children Bai Susu is having are actually mine. It's great that I'm not just a fallback guy. I didn't expect that after being dumped, the school beauty would give birth to my children, and I'd even activate the Super Daddy system. This is amazing. You're the family member of the person who just went into the delivery room, right? Come and handle the hospitalization procedures. A nurse walked over at this moment. This young man is really strange. He didn't come when we called earlier, and now that he's here, he's just standing there smiling foolishly. I really don't know what's going on in his head all day. Okay, I'm going right now. They say that good news makes a person feel refreshed, and that's exactly how I felt. All my previous bad moods had vanished without a trace. I followed the nurse, completed the paperwork, and paid the fees. Only then did I sit on the chair outside the delivery room. Thinking about everything that happened today, it felt like a dream. All the surprises of the last 20 years happened today. This system came just in time. If not for the system, I'm afraid I wouldn't have been able to afford all these hospital costs. I tried hard to recall the events of 10 months ago. I vaguely remembered meeting the school beauty, Bai Susu. I was drunk back then and seemed to see two thugs trying to bully her. I stepped forward to help, but I don't remember what happened after that. When I woke up, I was in a hotel. As for anything else, I really don't remember. Could it really have been that night? Thinking of this, I looked up at the delivery room door. I couldn't understand it. The cold school beauty and I didn't really have any feelings for each other. Even if we crossed paths, it was an accident. Furthermore, everyone is still studying. To have children now, no wonder people said before that Bai Susu had taken a leave of absence due to health reasons. So that was why. I had felt sorry for her at the time. After all, Bai Susu is the goddess of the school. Which boy wouldn't like her or want to steal a few extra glances? Now, she is the mother of my children. This world is truly surreal. If those other guys found out, they'd probably find a way to finish me off. From now on, two people who weren't supposed to cross paths are going to be tied together. Forget it, thinking about this is useless. Having my own children is something I never dared to imagine. Thinking of this, I called my mom and asked her to come to the TCM hospital. After all, when it comes to giving birth and taking care of babies, I don't understand anything myself. Looking at Bai Susu's situation, she definitely didn't dare let her family know about this. Otherwise, she wouldn't have called me. A few hours passed. Wah, wah, wah. Soon, several cries of infants sounded from the delivery room. As soon as I heard them, I knew my children were born. I stood up in excitement, my handsome face filled with emotion. I couldn't hide the wild joy in my eyes. The feeling of becoming a father for the first time is very strange and wonderful. The delivery room door opened, and I saw Bai Susu being pushed out. Beside her were 4 small infants. The 4 little things were a bit wrinkly, but seeing them made my heart melt. Looking at the 4 little guys, I felt a sense of longing, but for a moment, I was a bit at a loss for what to do. Congratulations, it's quadruplets. They are all girls and very healthy, the delivering doctor said with a face full of smiles and eyes full of excitement. This is the first time since the hospital was founded that quadruplets, all girls, have been born. This is a huge event for the hospital. Looking at this young couple, they are really easy on the eyes. The boy is handsome and the girl is beautiful. Especially this woman. She is truly exceptionally pretty, but looking at them, they seem to still be students. That's quite impressive. 4 daughters at once. It's truly enough to make people envious. Thank you, doctor, I reacted and immediately thanked the doctor. My goodness, 4 children at once? And they're actually quadruplets. My mom and dad will be thrilled when they find out. The cold goddess Bai Susu is truly amazing. Seeing her icy face so pale, my heart ached for her. So I asked how her body was feeling. It's nothing, just a bit tired and weak. Bai Susu's cold voice carried a trace of frailty. Seeing the concern in my eyes, she felt something different in her heart. A slight warmth rose within Bai Susu. That's good. I also let out a sigh of relief and didn't mind her coldness. After all, she is a cold goddess with a top-tier family background. It's only natural she'd look down on me. If it weren't for the need to sign for the birth, the 2 of us probably would never have had any contact in this lifetime. All right, you young couple can talk in the ward. The mother is weak now and shouldn't talk too much, the nurse said with a smile, pushing Bai Susu toward the ward. I followed immediately beside her. Looking at the sleeping infants, my eyes were full of tenderness. These are my children. This feeling of suddenly becoming a father is really wonderful. We arrived at the ward. There was another woman there who had also given birth, and her husband was by her side. When they saw us, a look of amazement flashed in their eyes, and they smiled in a friendly manner. Bai Susu looked at the 4 infants in her arms. Her gaze was very gentle. Thank you, Yifan. I gave birth to these children, so I won't ask you to take responsibility, Bai Susu said slowly as she looked at me. Furthermore, given her own abilities, raising these 4 children wouldn't be a problem. She never thought about making me take responsibility or anything like that. What are you saying? I am the father of the children, so I must take responsibility. Besides, why didn't you tell me about such a big matter? It hurts my heart that you took all this on by yourself. I looked at Bai Susu with a pained expression. After all, I am the father. I only found out about this when it was time to sign for the birth. If signing wasn't required, would I have never known I had children? Moreover, pregnancy and childbirth, and then raising children. It's so much hard work. How much gossip would she have to endure? How could this girl be so foolish and stubborn? Actually, by the time I found out, I was already 2 months pregnant. The doctor said it's a difficult constitution to conceive in, so I decided to give birth. I didn't know I needed a signature to give birth either. but I'm grateful you could come. What happened between us was just an accident. I have my own responsibility too." Bai Susu's cold eyes were filled with determination. Although I had saved her that time, she had also lost her innocence that night. This matter was settled as far as she was concerned. She wouldn't cling to me. Of course, she could afford to raise the children herself. In the massive Bai family, her grandfather had the final say. As long as her grandfather protected her, this matter wouldn't be much of an issue. Moreover, she had also heard that I was dating Liu Ruyan. She wanted even less to have too much involvement with me. Now, needing a signature for the birth was simply unavoidable. I broke up with her. "Don't worry, I will be responsible for you and the children. From now on, you are my Yifan's wife and the mother of my children. I will guard and protect you for a lifetime." I looked at Bai Susu seriously. This silly girl had carried so much alone. In the future, I would definitely be twice as good to her. Besides, being treated like this by the school beauty, Bai Susu, I feel like my life is worth it. From now on, Bai Susu is my wife, and with the children, we are a family. I have made up my mind at this moment. Hearing my vow-like promise, Bai Susu's expression couldn't help but change. She hadn't even clung to him, yet he was clinging to her. Curiously, she didn't find it repulsive. There's really no need for this. We are impossible in the end. This was just an accident. Bai Susu looked at me with a calm expression. Indeed, how could the Grand Bai family allow their daughter to marry a poor boy? No one in the family, not even her grandfather, would agree. These 4 children are Bai family blood, after all, and her grandfather has always liked children. Getting him to accept them wouldn't be very hard. But for Ye Fan, the Bai family would not accept him. No matter what, I've made up my mind. I know I'm not good enough for you right now, but one day I will stand by your side. Looking at Bai Susu, my heart felt a bit cold, but it only fueled my ambition further. Anyone can talk big. Society is very realistic and looks at strength. Bai Susu smiled and didn't take my words to heart. I stopped arguing with her. There was no use in saying anything now. Actual actions would suffice. All right, you rest. I'll go buy some supplies for the babies and bring you something to eat. What do you want? A portion of preserved egg and lean meat porridge. I've already prepared the baby supplies. Also, the maternity nurse I hired will be coming to take care of me in a few days. As Bai Susu spoke, she reached out and pulled a large satchel from the foot of the bed. All right then, my mom and I will take care of you for a few days. I didn't expect Bai Susu to be so thorough, even hiring a nurse. She really didn't want to have any intersection with me. For some reason, I felt a faint bitterness in my heart. Looking at the peacefully sleeping infants, my heart seemed to feel a bit more at ease. I opened the bag and saw quite a lot of things. Little clothes, milk powder, diapers, and so on. Your auntie is coming? When Bai Susu heard this, a flash of panic crossed her face. What should she do now? Don't worry, I'll explain things to my mom. I won't make things difficult for you, I said with a sigh. Okay then. Bai Susu could only nod helplessly. By the way, I still have some money on this card. Take it and use it. Thanks for the medical fees just now. As she spoke, Bai Susu pulled out a black card. She knew I didn't have much money. After all, my family background is average, and I often worked part-time and summer jobs. Paying the medical fees just now must have cost a lot. Although it was a natural birth and didn't cost that much, it was still 4 babies at once. For Yifan, it was a significant expense. No need, keep it for yourself. I have money. I was stunned, my eyes full of tenderness. Bai Susu is truly a good girl. Being dumped by Liu Ruyan might have been a blessing. If not for that, how could I have such a good wife and children? Bai Susu is more than 100 times better than Liu Ruyan. How was I so blind to have liked someone like that before? Alright, just tell me when you need to use it, Bai Susu said as she put the card away. Boys need to save face. She understood. I'll go buy the porridge for you. Wait for me, I'll be back soon, I said as I turned to leave. I thought it wouldn't do for Bai Susu to have no one looking after her. If I left, there really would be no one. Luckily, I was smart enough to call my mom over. I bought the porridge and some other things. Brown sugar and eggs. I heard these are things one should eat after giving birth. I rushed back in less than half an hour. How about I feed you? You shouldn't move your body. I looked at Bai Susu and said, I'm fine, I can drink it myself. Bai Susu became a bit uneasy. She had never been in contact with boys, except for that night, which was an accident. Because of her mood, she had also drunk a bit of alcohol and then encountered that situation. So, besides me, she had never been so physically close to a boy. "Be good, I'll feed you." I didn't listen to her, scooped a spoonful of porridge and blew on it gently. That careful appearance made Bai Susu look a bit awkward, but mostly at a loss. A beautiful blush appeared on her face. Just then, my mom called. "Drink it yourself first, I'll go take a call from my mom," I said, taking my phone and walking out. Looking at my departing back, a complex look flashed in Bai Susu's eyes. If Yefan's mother really came, how would that be? Wouldn't she be in a very awkward position? Forget it, take it one step at a time. Thinking more now was useless. "Hello, Mom, are you about to arrive?" I asked as I answered the phone. I thought it was about time, maybe she was already downstairs. "No, there's a traffic jam on my end. I probably won't get there until evening. What on earth did you do at the hospital?" My mom was so anxious that beads of sweat were forming on her forehead. Hearing me ask her to go to the hospital made her worry immediately. But listening to her son's voice, he sounded normal, not like anything was wrong. However, there were the sounds of babies crying in the background, which was a bit puzzling. Could it be that her son had done something to wrong a girl and was waiting at the hospital to make a decision? Thinking of this, her heart became even more troubled. This traffic jam really came at the wrong time. But when she left, she brought all the family's money, including bank cards. She just hoped this kid didn't cause any major trouble. "If you're late, you're late. Just be safe. We'll talk about things when you get here." I can't explain it clearly over the phone. All right then, hanging up. With that, my mom hung up. She felt like something big was waiting for her, and she felt a bit uneasy. I returned to the ward, and seeing Bai Susu's hesitant look, I found it a bit funny. My mom said she'll be late because of a traffic jam. I could clearly see that when I said this, Bai Susu slowly let out a sigh of relief. "My mother isn't scary." Was she nervous about meeting her future mother-in-law? I wondered how late my mom would be. Thinking of this, I called my roommate again and asked him to bring my quilt to the hospital, and to buy some towels, a basin, and other toiletries while he was at it. Soon, Zhao Xiaotian rushed over. When he arrived at the ward, I told him, he was instantly dumbfounded at the door. What did he see? He actually saw the cold school beauty Bai Susu lying on the hospital bed, while I sat by the bed looking at her tenderly. And beside the bed were those 4 tiny humanoid unknown creatures. Those were babies, right? What was going on? How did he suddenly have children, and 4 of them at that? My goodness, truly incredible. It's over, it's over. The perfect goddess in his heart, Bai Susu, had been ruined by Yifan like this, and they even had children. My god, what explosive news. "Xiaotian, you're here." I looked at Bai Susu, who was signaling me with her eyes. I turned around and saw Zhao Qian standing at the door like an idiot. "I really want to beat you up. When did you make your move? How did my goddess end up like this? After so many years of brotherhood, is this how you treat me?" Zhao Xiaotian looked at me through gritted teeth. Truly incredible. He couldn't believe it was real. The scene before him gave him quite a shock. "Xiaotian, calm down first. I'll explain it to you slowly," I said, trying to soothe him, feeling helpless in my heart. I knew Zhao Xiaotian also liked the school beauty. When Bai Susu took her leave of absence, this guy had even hugged me and cried for a while. In this situation, it was normal that he couldn't accept it. Even when I first found out, I was just as shocked and incredulous. "You have to give me a reasonable explanation today." Zhao Xiaotian looked at the pale face of the goddess in his heart and almost cried. Unfortunately, he had made his move too late. Actually, it was that night. I explained quietly to Zhao Xiaotian. Half an hour later, Zhao Xiaotian looked at me, still wanting to strangle me. This guy actually made his goddess suffer so much, he was truly a beast. Sister-in-law. No, school beauty Bai. If this guy treats you badly in the future, tell me. I'll definitely help you teach him a lesson. I'm always on your side. Zhao Xiaotian looked at Bai Susu with a face full of pity. Bai Susu just nodded at Zhao Xiaotian and didn't say anything. "Brother, what's wrong? Look at what you've done. Your brother is even ashamed for you. By the way, you and that Liu Ruyan broke up, right? It spread all over the school." Zhao Xiaotian said this with a bit of schadenfreude. Only after speaking did he realize he might have said the wrong thing. He peeked at Bai Susu and found that she had no unusual expression. Only then did he breathe a sigh of relief, glad he hadn't upset the goddess. "Go ahead and say it, it's fine. Your sister-in-law is generous and won't mind," I said with a laugh, noticing Zhao Xiaotian glancing at Bai Susu. Wasn't that right? There were no feelings between us. Of course, that was Bai Susu having no feelings for me. Between us, it was originally just a mistake. It was a mistake that brought us together. Hearing this, Bai Susu's delicate body trembled, but she ignored my thick-skinned comments. Your business is blown up at school. When you were arguing with Liu Ruyan, someone saw and recorded it. The school forum is going crazy. Top student hunk versus gold digger. And something about poor boy dumped by gold digger. But brother, I saw the video of you scolding Liu Ruyan. A real man. I already said that Liu Ruyan wasn't anything good. Now you know, right? Zhao Xiaotian looked at me with a "you should have listened to me" expression. Not to mention, Liu Ruyan was really finished. Her reputation was now notorious at school. I don't think I care about those things anymore. Anyway, now that I have a wife and children, what is there to fear? I feel like after the breakup, I'm simply a winner in life. Wah! At this moment, the children suddenly felt hungry. A tiny mouth puckered and let out a loud cry. One after another, they all started crying, and it was earth-shaking. They must be hungry. I don't have any provisions, breast milk yet, so we have to make formula. There's milk powder and bottles in that bag. Yi Fan, go make some. Remember to use warm water, and 2 scoops of powder is enough. Don't overdo it. Bai Susu had watched many baby care videos before. Before giving birth, she had learned a lot. After all, a novice mom definitely has to learn more. Okay, Xiaotian, help me out. With that, the two took the bottles and milk powder and went. Bai Susu looked at the little baby beside her, patting them gently and comforting them. Don't cry, baby, don't cry. You'll be able to eat soon. When Zhao Xiaotian and I came back in, we saw this scene. This cold school beauty actually had such a gentle side, her whole body seemed to radiate a motherly glow. I came to Bai Susu's side, put down the bottle in my hand, and picked up one of the infants. Careful, is it too hot? Have you tested the temperature? Bai Susu asked. You have to know that newborn babies are very fragile and easily burned. I tested it, I cooled it with cold water. As I spoke, I even squirted some milk from the bottle onto the back of my hand. The temperature was perfect and wouldn't burn the child. That's good. Bai Susu also felt relieved. 3 people feeding 4 children was still a bit of a scramble, but they managed to feed the little babies. Congratulations to the host for completing the feeding task. 200,000 has been credited to your account. Please check it. Hearing the system's voice, my eyes lit up. As expected, this daddy system is truly invincible. As long as I take good care of the children, I can get generous rewards. In the future, I really won't have to worry about money to raise the kids. These babies are so cute. Have you thought of names yet? This is 4 babies at once, Zhao Xiaotian said happily while holding an infant. He didn't expect that his good buddy, who was playing games with him just the day before, had turned into a father of 4 little babies in the blink of an eye. And with such a beautiful school beauty as a wife, it's truly the peak of life. Haven't thought of names yet, but since Ye Fan is the father of the children, they should naturally take his surname. Bai Susu had considered this problem for a long time. If the children took her surname, they would definitely ask where their father was when they grew up. They would be looked down upon and gossiped about at school. So it was better to follow Yi Fan's surname. As for the children's names, let's think about it carefully. After all, a name is a big deal and will be used for a lifetime. Besides, I can't think of any names right now. I smiled awkwardly. Alright, then think about it carefully over the next few days. Bai Susu also agreed with my words. Names indeed had to be chosen carefully. Soon, the 4 little milk bundles had eaten their fill and started sleeping soundly again. You guys go eat, there's nothing else to do for now, Bai Susu said as she looked at the 2 of us. Alright then, what do you want to eat? I'll bring it back for you, I said to Bai Susu with concern. Look at how much this girl has withered these past few days. Her face is very pale. It seems I must hurry up and find a house so I can properly nourish Bai Susu's body. As for school, what's the point in going? Just take a leave of absence. Right now, the wife and children are most important. Once my mom gets here and helps out for a few days, I'll go handle those matters. Whatever, just bring something back. Thank you, Bai Susu said plainly. She didn't have much of an appetite. Okay then. Hearing that thank you made my heart feel a bit uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything. I then pulled Zhao Xiaotian out for dinner. Buddy, why did the school beauty say thank you to you just now? You guys already have children, yet you're still acting like strangers. At this moment, Zhao Xiaotian couldn't help but say curiously. He had wanted to say it earlier, but he clearly felt the atmosphere was a bit off, so he didn't. You know the situation. It was just an accident. Of course, I will work hard to make Bai Susu accept me. My eyes were full of determination. I would definitely be able to do it. Buddy, I support you in winning over Bai Susu and making her my sister-in-law willingly. Zhao Xiaotian patted my shoulder encouragingly. Don't worry, I'll do my best, I laughed. Whether for myself or for the children, I will work hard. In the future, I want to live a good life with Bai Susu and my baby daughters. I suddenly had a flash of inspiration. I had the names. Bing, Qing, Yu, Ji, meaning pure and translucent like ice and jade. The 4 daughters, in order of age, would be called Yi Bing, Yi Qing, Yi Yu, and Yi Ji. The names are perfect. After eating, Zhao Xiaotian went back to school. I bought some food and went back to the hospital alone. When I returned, the 4 little milk babies were already sleeping very sweetly, and Bai Susu was also asleep. Her beautiful little face was full of tranquility. It was the first time I had seen her sleeping like this. She gave off the feeling of a sleeping beauty. You're back. Bai Susu opened her eyes and saw me sitting by the bed looking at her. That tender look made her feel a bit dazed. I also got some pig's trotter soup. I heard it helps with provisions, lactation, I said a bit awkwardly. Although we had history, it was just an accident. Bringing up such a topic was inevitably a bit awkward. Thank you? Bai Susu's little face turned red, but she soon regained her composure. It was better for the children to have natural food. That way they'd be healthy and have stronger resistance. It's nothing. Eat quickly. I opened the packaging and placed it on the cabinet next to the bed, then helped Bai Susu sit up, letting her lean against the bed so she'd be a bit more comfortable. Looking at my handsome face, Bai Susu's eyes were filled with complexity. Our relationship seemed to be getting closer and closer. Of course, it was the children who had woven our fates together. However, I seemed different from what she had heard before. She didn't expect me to be so attentive. Bai Susu took a deep look at me and then lowered her head to eat. I looked at the 4 little ones in the crib next to us. Each one was so cute. Tiny faces, tiny hands, tiny bodies, truly soft and squishy. Just then, my phone rang. Bai Susu also stopped and looked at me, her little face getting a bit nervous. Was it Ye Fan's mother? At this time, it probably was. She felt a bit nervous and at a loss. As for why, Bai Susu herself didn't understand. It's my mom, she's probably arrived. I pulled out my phone, looked at it, and then spoke to Bai Susu, who looked a bit stiff. Then answer it quickly, Bai Susu said. What must come will come, so there was no way to avoid it. I answered the phone and heard my mom saying she was already at the hospital entrance. I glanced at Bai Susu and left the ward. Bai Susu watched my back and fell into deep thought. She didn't know how to face my mother, but since things had reached this stage, she could only take it one step at a time. Once I got out and reached the hospital entrance, I saw my mom walking back and forth, clearly looking anxious. Mom! I called out and walked over quickly. Son, tell me, did you do something to wrong a girl? We can't bully other people's daughters, and we can't let them down. Mom taught you since you were little not to bully girls, but if you do, you must take responsibility. My mom said anxiously as soon as she saw me. This child truly had her worried to death. She had been panicked on the bus, thinking of all sorts of bad things. If her son really wronged that girl, and they wanted compensation, then they naturally had to pay. Mom, what are you thinking? Well, it's close enough. Anyway, since you're here, let's go in and you'll see. I don't know how to explain it. A few words won't make it clear. As soon as my mom pushed open the ward door, she saw an exquisite young girl sitting on the hospital bed, and there were 4 little ones in the crib beside her. Sorry, wrong room. My mom smiled awkwardly and stepped back out. She was truly muddled, even walking into the wrong ward. I had just reacted when I saw my mom coming back out. Mom, why did you come back out? Son, we're in the wrong room. My mom looked at me helplessly. Her son couldn't even do such a small thing right, even leading her to the wrong room. She was going to be driven crazy sooner or later. There are 2 mothers in there, especially that beautiful girl. She actually had quadruplets. Truly amazing. And look at my own son, so useless. He can't do anything right but can finish any meal. After all, a woman who just gave birth needs to rest well and shouldn't be disturbed. Besides, if the babies were startled and started crying, it would be a lot of trouble. You have to know how hard it is for a new mother to get a baby to sleep. My mom had experienced that deeply. Is that so? No way. I looked at the room number with a dazed expression. Hey, it's correct. Mom, it's right, we're not in the wrong room. Let's go. I pulled my mom, wanting to enter the ward in front of us. "We are in the wrong room, there are two mothers in there. How can you not believe me, child?" My mom found for the first time that her son's strength was so great she actually couldn't pull away from him. "Susu, I'm back. This is my mom," I said, letting go of my mom's hand and coming to the bedside, glancing at the little guys who were sleeping so sweetly. "Son, tell your mom what exactly is going on here." My mom's face was the definition of confusion. What exactly is the situation? Can someone explain it to her? She didn't even dare to let her imagination run wild. It was too terrifying. "Hello, Auntie. My name is Bai Susu." Bai Susu's face was a bit unnatural. This mom in front of her was in her 40s. She was well-maintained and still looked very young. Hello, I'm Yifan's mother." My mom nodded and came to the bedside, but she didn't dare to think or say anything rash. At this moment, she was even more nervous than on her wedding night. Yifan mentioned you before, Auntie." Bai Susu nodded very obediently, not knowing what else to say for a moment. "This brat, what could he possibly say about me? Most likely just bad-mouthing me behind my back," Mom said, giving her son a heavy eye roll. She knew exactly what kind of character her son was. "Mom," I called out helplessly. "Couldn't she give me a little face?" "Susu, where is the children's father? Taking care of 4 babies at once is going to be very exhausting. Though of course, it's a great blessing. By the way, are the babies boys or girls?" Mom asked, looking at the little infants with eyes full of affection. "Sigh, I really don't know when I'll finally get to hold my own biological grandchildren. This boy of mine is so unpromising, I haven't heard a word about him having a girlfriend, let alone grandsons or granddaughters. I'll probably be too old to walk by the time I finally see them." Mom instinctively assumed that this girl was just my friend or classmate, and that I was only here to show concern and offer greetings. She didn't think any deeper into it. 4 babies in one birth, and they're all girls," I said with a smile, my eyes full of joy. I had seen the affection in my mother's eyes very clearly just now. What wonderful luck. Daughters are like a mother's little warm padded jackets. No, I need to make my son step up his game so he and his father can hold their own granddaughters and grandsons sooner. "Of course, we are all blessed," I said with a smile. I was blessed, and so was my mother. Mom was a bit confused hearing this and didn't understand what I meant, but she didn't press it. Why is the children's father missing? Why hasn't he come back yet?" Mom asked casually without thinking much of it. As a result of that question, Bai Susu and I locked eyes, both seeing the awkwardness in each other's gaze. A strange atmosphere permeated the air. Looking at the awkward pair, Mom's mind began to wander. Since she hadn't seen elders from either side, she wondered if this girl was a poor, abandoned soul. Thinking of this, Mom felt even more pained for this beautiful girl. She had heard many such stories. Female college students abandoned at the hospital to give birth alone, or the man running away. "Mom, actually, these children are your granddaughters. Bai Susu is my girlfriend and I am the father of the children." I glanced at Bai Susu, reached out to take her hand, and spoke while looking at my mother. Regardless of anything, the children were already born. It was impossible for her not to be my girlfriend. Not just a girlfriend, she would be my wife in the future. "What?" Mom felt like she must have misheard. "What did you say? These are your children? You've become a father?" Mom looked at me in shock, momentarily doubting if she was hallucinating. She couldn't have been more stunned. "Mom, it's true. The children Bai Susu gave birth to are mine. They were born today. I called you here because I wanted you to take care of her for a few days until the maternity nurse arrives." "Son, you're not lying to me, are you? Is this really true?" Mom still found it hard to believe. How did her son suddenly have children? He hadn't even mentioned having a girlfriend before, and now he was the father of 4? "I'm not lying, it's true. If you don't believe me, ask Susu," I said, turning my head to look at Bai Susu. I knew it would be like this. "Auntie, what Yifan said is true. The situation is complicated, but these children are definitely Yifan's," Bai Susu said firmly, looking at Mom. That look made Mom feel a pang of heartache. Sigh, what a good girl. She hadn't expected her to really be her son's girlfriend and to have given birth to quadruplets. "Child, Auntie believes you. I didn't expect I'd have granddaughters too. This is wonderful." Mom burst into a smile instantly. Once confirmed, she was incredibly excited. "So, the reason I called her to the hospital was for her to see the children and become a grandmother." Mom looked at the babies with a face full of smiles. She hadn't expected her son to actually be so capable, gaining a wife and children all at once, and the children were 4 little 1,000 golds, precious daughters. If Yifan's father knew, he would definitely be even happier. She really wanted to tell him right now, but in the end, Mom held back. Who told that guy to always pull a long face whenever he saw their son? She wouldn't tell him for now. Taking care of that old man wasn't nearly as important as taking care of her precious daughter-in-law and her darling granddaughters. She hadn't expected her future daughter-in-law to be so amazing, giving birth to 4 at once. Let's see if those village women still dare to laugh at her in the future. Seeing my mother so happy, I felt a weight lift from my heart. I had thought she might flip out when she found out. Meanwhile, seeing how much Mom liked the children, Baisusu also relaxed a little. The relationship between a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law is historically sensitive, but the feeling Mom gave her was very good. Finally, I found a nurse and switched to a private ward. After all, there were quite a few of us in the family. Staying with others wouldn't be convenient and would disturb them. Of course, this way, without outsiders around, they didn't have to be so restrained in their speech. Child, if my Yifan ever treats you poorly, you tell me. I'll help you deal with him and make sure he's taught to be obedient. Mom held Baisusu's small hand, speaking with great joy. Of course, she didn't forget to glare at me. If I dared to bully her daughter-in-law, she certainly wouldn't let me off. In our family, the women are in charge. From now on, you have the final say. Also, if there's anything you're unhappy with, you can say it. You've truly suffered, child, Mom said, her voice trailing off into tears. She had just learned the whole story. She hadn't expected this child to be so strong. What a good girl. If it weren't for the need to sign for the birth, they really might have missed out on all of this. Thinking of this, Mom looked at the 4 little ones again, then at Baisusu, her eyes full of heartache. This girl had truly suffered. Auntie, it's actually fine, Baisusu said with a smile, glancing at me. She didn't really take the things Mom said to heart, knowing that she and I were impossible. Mom, stop talking for a bit. Come over here, I have something to tell you. I pulled my mother toward the hallway. You child? Is there something you can't say in there? Mom shook her head helplessly. This boy had been spoiled by her. Mom, actually, regarding my situation with Baisusu, I told you just now. I will work hard to be worthy of her. Just don't interfere. I'm going to rent a house tomorrow. She can probably be discharged in 2 days. It'll be hard on you to take care of her then. We'll hire a maternity nurse too. I have to go to school tomorrow. Son, Mom can see that Susu is a good girl. She's my future daughter-in-law, and I won't accept anyone else. You must work hard to make her willingly stay with you. Our family isn't wealthy, but in Mom's heart, her son is the best. Also, what do you plan to do about school? Mom asked, frowning again. After all, now that her son had a wife and children, would he continue his studies or take a leave of absence to care for Susu until the children were older? No matter what he decided, she would support him. I'm going to take a leave of absence tomorrow. I want to take care of Baisusu and my children. I have to take responsibility. Susu has already worked so hard. I have to consider things from her perspective. I was very worried my mom wouldn't be willing when I said this. After all, getting into this university hadn't been easy, and my parents had worried themselves sick over it. All right, Mom supports you. I'll keep this from your father for now and see how long we can hide it. Mom sighed. The old man at home had a stubborn personality. If he found out, they'd probably start fighting again. Okay, thanks, Mom. I didn't expect my mother to be so reasonable, and I felt relieved. My dad's side would have to be kept in the dark for now, and I'd explain slowly later. You child, I'm your mother, what's there to thank me for? I have a card here with 400,000 to 500,000 yuan in it. Take it and use it. After all, you're not alone anymore. You're a man with a family now. My eyes blurred instantly as I looked at the card. These were my mother's hard-earned life savings. I couldn't take it. Besides, with the system, I already had over 4 million in my bank account. Mom, I have money. I invested in a small business with some people before, and it's making money now. You keep this for yourself to use later. I pushed the card back. Since going to university, I rarely asked for money from home. As an adult, I wanted to be independent. I usually earned money through part-time jobs, and I paid my own tuition. Mainly, it was because my mother worked too hard. She had labored her whole life, and I didn't want her to keep worrying about me now that I was grown. All right then, I'll save it for you first. Tell me if you need money. Mom nodded and carefully tucked the card away. Her son had grown up and could make his own decisions in many matters. This was a good thing. Mom felt very gratified looking at her son. Okay, Mom, I'll have to trouble you these next few days. Keep all this from Dad for now. I'm really afraid he'll give me a violent thrashing if he finds out. I was very reverent toward my father. I remembered one time as a child when I went to play by the river and didn't come home until well after dark. At that time, children, chickens, ducks, and geese were always going missing in the village. There were rumors of human traffickers, so the adults didn't let the children play far away. That time, my parents thought I had been snatched by a trafficker or something had happened. The village loudspeaker broadcasted for 3 hours straight. After I got back, my dad educated me for an hour with a 7 Wolves brand leather belt. That lesson was truly harsh. Of course, I also knew he must have been terrified at the time. The pain was so bad that I had to stand during classes at school. I stood for 3 days straight before I dared to sit, which made my classmates laugh for days. That incident spread like wildfire through my elementary school. I truly became famous. The whole school knew who I was, and I became the hot topic for teachers and students alike during meals. I asked Mom to help look after Bai Susu while I went to school to request a leave of absence and then found a house to rent. After getting everything settled, I bought some food and headed back to the hospital. As soon as I entered the ward, I saw Mom and Bai Susu chatting exceptionally happily about something. They didn't even seem to notice me walking in. When I got closer and heard what my mother was saying, my face darkened instantly. My goodness, Mom, is that any way to talk about your own son? Susu, you have no idea how mischievous Yi-fan was as a kid. Back then, he often went with the village boys to steal bird eggs and even chickens. Then several kids would secretly roast the chicken on the mountain. They got caught several times. He even went to burn hornet nests and brought back pupae for us to fry and eat. I remember the first time that boy burned a hornet nest, he got stung badly and his face swelled up like a pig's head. It scared his father and me half to death. The more Mom spoke, the more energized she became. Bai Susu grew happier the more she listened. She hadn't expected Yi-fan to be so naughty as a child. Having grown up in the countryside, she suddenly felt quite a yearning for it. From a young age, she wasn't allowed to play at anything. She was trained by her parents in dance and piano, and learned vast amounts of knowledge. Those dull and tedious childhood memories always made her feel very dejected. She envied me for having such a good father and mother. She could see that Mom loved me very much. As for her own parents, thinking of this, a flash of disappointment crossed her eyes. She had always craved the warmth and care of a family. But in her clan, only her grandfather truly loved and pampered her. In her parents' eyes, she was merely a tool for their interests. Perhaps this is the sorrow of being born into a wealthy family. A lifetime of endless luxury and wealth, but lacking in any real warmth. But she would rather not have any of it. She only wanted a good family, parents who loved her, and a harmonious household. Mom, what bad things are you saying about me again? I looked at my mother, speechless. She had told all my childhood embarrassments to Bai Susu. You brat, is your skin itching? Can I talk about you? An awkward look flashed across Mom's face as she pretended to be calm and glared at her son. Honestly, is it easy being a mother? She just wanted Bai Susu to be more interested in me. Look at what this son says. When had she ever said bad things about him? Is this how you slander your own mother? Okay, I was wrong, all right, I said helplessly. My mother was truly powerful. I could never win an argument with her. Better to admit defeat early, to avoid getting handled later. That's more like it. What have you been doing all day? Mom asked. Her son had been running around so much he was nowhere to be seen. I went to the school, found a house, tidied it up a bit, and bought some necessities. I said while placing the items in my hand on the cabinet next to the bed. Hard work, Bai Susu said slowly as she looked at me. She understood that I was really working hard, running back and forth. She had originally planned to give birth to the children in secret. She hadn't expected everything to exceed her imagination. These few days since she gave birth, I had been busy with everything. I really worked hard, and she hadn't expected me to be so responsible. It was just a pity they were impossible. It's nothing. I bought some porridge, as well as soup dumplings and steamed dumplings. There's also a rice bowl set. You two eat while it's hot. Mom and Bai Susu must have been hungry, so I brought some food back. Since giving birth, Bai Susu's taste had been quite light, so I bought porridge and steamed dumplings for her. I bought a shredded pork with garlic sauce rice bowl for my mom. Her son was quite sensible. Indeed, once she smelled the aroma of the food, she felt hungry, so she started eating. Bai Susu also nodded with a smile and began drinking her porridge and eating the dumplings. She looked at me while she ate, her heart filled with complexity, but she could only temporarily suppress those complicated emotions. I looked at the 4 little ones with eyes full of affection. These little guys were a bit fairer than before, and their features had opened up a bit. Still, they were soft, squishy little things. I carefully picked up the eldest, who was fast asleep. Looking at this milk bundle, my heart felt a strange sensation. Life is truly miraculous. At this moment, the system's voice sounded. Task: change a diaper for the eldest, Yibing. Reward: beginner master culinary skills. I was stunned when I heard it. Only then did I notice that the little one in my arms was sleeping very restlessly. It seemed she might have done her business. The little one might be uncomfortable. I'll check on her, you guys go ahead and eat. I placed the eldest, Yibing, on the empty hospital bed next to us and carefully unwrapped the small swaddle blanket. A baby only a few days old is very fragile, so my movements were exceptionally gentle. I took a new pure cotton cloth and laid it down for Yibing, then cleaned her up and applied some powder. Only then did I carefully wrap her up again. Congratulations to the host for completing the diaper-changing task. Reward: beginner master culinary skills. After 3 seconds, I took a deep breath. I had already mastered these culinary skills. It seemed I could cook something delicious for Baisusu tomorrow. I'd let my mom and Baisusu taste my cooking. Anyway, always eating this fast food didn't have much nutrition. Tomorrow, I'd brew some soup to nourish them. They'd worked hard these past few days. Son, not bad. You can even change a diaper now. Although your technique is a bit clumsy and stiff, you managed it anyway. My son is truly a decent daddy. Mom's heart was full of gratification. Baisusu's eyes were also complex, but mostly filled with a bit of helplessness. The more I acted like this, the more complicated her internal feelings became. Even she didn't know that a strange new emotion was emerging. Of course, I have to learn, otherwise how will I help Susu in the future? I said with a laugh, feeling a bit embarrassed by my mother's praise. By the way, Susu, have you produced provisions? Started lactating yet? I said at that moment, sounding like a total straight man, completely unaware of how awkward this question was. Baisusu's little face turned red instantly, and her gaze toward me became resentful. This guy was doing it on purpose, right? Auntie Yi was still right here, and he asked such a thing. Yi-fan, you can buy some pigeon soup or pig's trotter soup tomorrow. Those are for producing provisions. But it's fine, the babies can drink formula for now, and they can eat when the milk comes in. You young people shouldn't always focus on your figures. You should know that breast milk is good for both the mother and child. The children will have a better constitution and resistance. These two were both novice parents, so naturally, as an experienced person, she had to give them a good lecture. Look at that. She'd only said a few words, and Baisusu's exquisite face was so red, it looked like it was about to drip blood. Truly, young people are thin-skinned. But her daughter-in-law was beautiful no matter how she looked at her. This boy really found a treasure. She hoped he would work harder and marry this precious daughter-in-law soon. Mom was an open-minded person and naturally didn't think of anything messy. She knew her son had wronged the girl, but what was done was done. She only hoped her son would work hard and earn Baisusu's approval. Baisusu responded, her face red, her head hanging obediently. She hadn't realized a little bit of provisions had so many benefits. Thinking of this, she looked down at herself. Just then, Baisusu felt a direct gaze. She raised her head and followed the look, seeing me watching her with eyes full of laughter. What is he laughing at? HMPH, how annoying. Is he making fun of me? That's too much. Baisusu glared back fiercely, her expression clearly saying, "Don't you dare laugh." I rubbed my nose a bit awkwardly. Okay, I won't laugh. Why so fierce? Hey, but Baisusu's even cuter when she's shy. I felt my heart thumping. That was the feeling of a heartbeat. It seemed I really had to step it up and earn Baisusu's approval sooner. Look at you two, it's truly enviable. It was like this with your father and me back then. As soon as I glared, he'd cower. Mom laughed loudly. Finally, because it was a bit inconvenient here, there were only 2 hospital beds, one for Baisusu and 2 babies, and one for Mom and the other 2 babies. There was no room for me. I had to go back to the place I rented to sleep. Luckily, I had bought the quilt and other necessities today. I lay on the bed, sent a goodnight wife message to Baisusu on my phone, and went to sleep. Looking at those few short words on her phone, Baisusu felt a strange emotion. Her heart felt a bit warm. Why? Could it really be because of those few words? Baisusu, you have to be clear-headed. You can't fall for this. You and Ye-fan are impossible. The family won't agree, your parents won't agree, and grandfather won't agree either. On the contrary, I will only bring him endless trouble and danger. I can't. Putting down the phone, Bai Susu silently closed her eyes, telling herself not to let her thoughts wander. The next day, obstetrics director Wu Hua and vice president Zhang Lei came. "Hello, we are here representing the hospital. We would like to ask Miss Bai and the 4 little 1,000 golds to help us film a promotional advertisement. Of course, we will provide compensation. It's mainly because Miss Bai is the first case of multiple births delivered at our hospital, which represents a new height for us." They had discussed this for a long time before making a decision. Only then did the hospital send her and the vice president here to negotiate. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity their hospital didn't want to miss. "We'll consider it. Give us some time." I walked in at this moment. I had to see what Bai Susu's opinion was on this matter. Of course, I didn't care much about the compensation. Now that I had the system, was I afraid I couldn't support my wife and children? "All right, Mr. Yi, we'll come back another day." Vice President Zheng Li nodded. The obstetrics director next to him wanted to say something more, but was stopped by Vice President Zheng Li. "Director, why didn't you keep trying to persuade them? This is such a rare opportunity. Who knows when the next time will be? We can't give up. We didn't even mention the compensation. Let's see their attitude first and talk later. We can't push them too hard. This is something they have to think through and agree to voluntarily." That young man gives me a very different feeling. "Director, we didn't mention the compensation. Maybe if we did, they would have agreed." Wu Hua spoke up again. "With that much money, maybe they would have agreed without a second thought." "Wu Hua, didn't you see their expressions?" Miss Bai and that lady both deferred to the young man's opinion, and that young man simply doesn't care about money. Otherwise, he would have asked about the compensation on the spot. Yes, that young man doesn't care about money. Perhaps in his eyes, family is more important than money. "Director, I understand." Wu Hua nodded, now understanding the director's meaning. "You heard what they said just now. Make up your own minds. Mom respects your choice." Mom looked at the two of them once and then went back to caring for the children. "Actually, we can try," Bai Susu said, looking at me seriously. She knew I didn't have much money, and the Yi family's situation was just average. The compensation for the promotional ad shouldn't be small. Moreover, we would need a lot of money in the future. After all, we have 4 babies. "But such exposure. What about your family's side?" I said to Bai Susu slowly. I could understand what she was thinking. This silly girl. Wasn't she just worried about my finances? But if there really was exposure, what if she was discovered one day? Then what would Bai Susu do? How would she face her family? How would others view her? I didn't want to make things difficult for her. I knew Bai Susu didn't come from an ordinary family. Her background was powerful and influential. If her family found out, what would happen to her? What would happen to the children? "I know you're doing this for me. You're afraid I'll feel pressure, afraid I'll be burdened. I can support you guys, believe me." I looked at Bai Susu with burning eyes. "Ye Fan, listen to me. We need this money. Having more money can always prevent emergencies. Also, I can just wear a mask then, I won't be recognized," Bai Susu said firmly. As long as her face wasn't seen, it would be fine. Anyway, wearing a mask shouldn't affect the hospital side much. At most, they could explain that she didn't want to be recognized and wanted a quiet, undisturbed life. Is wearing a mask really okay? Well then, I looked at Bai Susu with a trace of worry, but seeing how insistent she was, I couldn't say more. "You've agreed, no going back. This is to earn milk powder money for our children, and when the children grow up, we can tell them they were the stars of the ad. They'll definitely be very happy." Truly a silly girl, I reached out and stroked Bai Susu's head. Really so silly. Her delicate body trembled, and she became incredibly silent. So he had seen through her little thoughts after all. My maternity nurse can come tomorrow. We can let her handle things then. Auntie has been exhausted these past few days and can take a good rest." During this time, she felt that Auntie Yi truly treated her like a daughter-in-law. Thinking about reality, she felt a bit guilty. In the end, it was still too hard for her and Ye Fan. However, she liked Mother Yi from the bottom of her heart. From Mother Yi, she felt the warmth of family, just as she did from her grandfather. "You silly child, what's so hard about it? I didn't even do much. These are my little granddaughters. Besides, in my heart, you're already my daughter-in-law. You brat, hurry up and work hard to marry Susu back for me. If you don't, I'll break your legs and you'll never come home again." So unpromising. Such a good daughter-in-law about to fly away. This won't do. Anyway, I've decided on Bai Susu as my daughter-in-law. This brat makes me angry, just looking at him. "Mom, aren't I working on it?" "Susu, look, My mom has already decided on you, and I've decided on you too. Whether you agree or not, our lives are going to be entangled together in this lifetime." Tut, are those words a biological mother says to her son? What do you mean, break my legs? What do you mean, don't come home? Now mom only has Bai Susu in her eyes, and I don't have a single shred of status left. But why didn't mom understand? Without a son, where would a daughter-in-law come from? Thinking of this, I was still hesitating about whether to tell my mother about that thing. Watching the way mom and I interacted, Bai Susu was truly envious. This was the warmth she had always longed for. In that large clan, only her grandfather had ever given her warmth. Recalling her own parents, they were never like this. Likewise, they didn't care how she was. They only cared about how her studies were and how her interactions with other young talents were going. "Susu, look at my mom. Her heart is all about you now. She doesn't even want her own son anymore. What kind of magic did you cast on my mother?" "Mom, really, what if Susu still doesn't agree? You'd really not let me in the door and break my legs? That's so harsh. How can there be such a harsh mother? Am I your biological son? Quickly, tell me, where did you pick me up? Where is my real mom? I was messing around with my mother, looking like a rogue? Ha ha ha! My goodness, is this any way to tease your mother? This child has truly let himself go." Hearing my words, mom was both angry and amused. Bai Susu, watching from the side, covered her small mouth and giggled. It was the first time she'd seen such a mischievous side of me. The next morning, I handled the discharge procedures early, hailed a car, and rushed to the place I rented. It wasn't far, only about 10 minutes away. Several of us, holding the babies and some things, went upstairs. Luckily, the maternity nurse arrived at the hospital this morning. Otherwise, it really would have been hard to carry 4 children. Upon entering the house, "Son, this place isn't bad. A 3-bedroom, not bad at all." Mom started touring the place while holding a baby. The house was indeed very nice. Looking at it, it hadn't been long since it was renovated. The sofa, LCD TV, as well as the refrigerator, washing machine, etc., were all complete. This saved a lot of trouble. It's indeed very nice. Bai Susu looked around and nodded. It seemed she was also very satisfied with this new home. "Susu, you sleep in this big bedroom. It fits the 4 babies perfectly, and the bed is large enough." Mom immediately picked out the best room for Bai Susu. "All right, it's very nice." Bai Susu walked over, holding the eldest, and nodded at the room. The space was indeed large enough. "Mom, why don't you sleep with Susu tonight? You can help her take care of the kids," I said. I was more at ease with my mother there. Besides, it was impossible for me to go in. Bai Susu definitely wouldn't agree, so I could only rely on my mother. Taking care of 4 children alone at night would be very hard for Susu. "All right, I'll sleep with Susu tonight. You sleep in one room, and Xiao Mei, the nurse, will sleep in the remaining one," Mom arranged decisively. She didn't expect her son to be so thoughtful and know how to care for his wife. This was a good sign. "Then I'll have to trouble you, Auntie," Bai Susu said to Mom. Indeed, it would be difficult for her to care for 4 children alone. I was being very thoughtful for her. Bai Susu glanced at me, and a strange feeling arose in her heart. It seemed a bit warm and a bit sweet. "All right, Susu, go rest. You're still in confinement. Don't get out of bed and walk around, or it'll be bad for your body." Several of them brought the babies in and placed them beside Bai Susu. The 4 little ones were sleeping very sweetly, showing no signs of waking up. This would make them easy to care for. Tasked: settle the babies and the mother. Reward: 1 quadruplet stroller, 1 quadruplet crib, 1 set of quadruplet necklaces, and 4 cans of brain-boosting formula for quadruplets. Reward: 1 set of couples pajamas, 1 set of couples bracelets, and 1 set of couples necklaces. My goodness, the system kept ringing this time, with so many rewards. All these items had special functions. When I saw the descriptions, I instantly grew even more excited. These things were so precious they couldn't be bought in the world. Many were for life-saving. And with those effects, any one of them would make people's blood boil. Taking out just one of these priceless treasures would cause people to fight for it out of envy. As for the couple rewards, 1 set could be used by Bai Susu and me, and another could be used by my mom and dad. Especially the last one, the couple's necklaces, could aid sleep, delay aging, and protect the wearer from a single fatal danger. Weren't these perfect for my parents? With these necklaces, I felt I could be at ease. My parents, safety was guaranteed, and they could delay aging and prolong their lives. It would be good for their bodies. There was nothing more suitable. I hadn't yet been able to properly show my filial piety. With this necklace, I could rest easy knowing my parents' health was better. So many regrets stem from us growing up while our parents grow old. The next morning, I went out early. After all, these things couldn't just appear out of thin air. I had to find a reasonable excuse. When I came back, I was downstairs and called my mom to come down and help carry things. There was too much for me to carry alone. Thinking about this, I realized I should have a car. It would be much more convenient then, whether for going out or picking up rewards. When I had some free time, I definitely had to choose a car. Besides, I'd already gotten my driver's license long ago. If you don't buy a car after getting your license, you'll eventually be too afraid to drive. Soon, Mom hurried downstairs. "Son, why did you buy so many things? A stroller and a bed too?" Mom looked at the things on the ground in surprise. I smiled. When your son acts, of course everything is fully equipped. Your son does things reliably. With that, we moved the things into the house. I looked at this quadruplet crib. The wood didn't seem simple. There was a faint fragrance coming from it, and it felt warm and smooth to the touch. What kind of wood was this made of? I was very confused, so I asked the system in my mind. "System, what wood is this made of?" "Host, this is Phoebe Genin, golden thread Nanmu, a wood reserved for royal use." The mechanical voice sounded in my head. I was instantly shocked. Golden thread Nanmu? This was a national second-class protected plant. I felt like I had struck gold. It was actually such good stuff. "I want a golden thread Nanmu bed too, what should I do?" Unfortunately, this was for my children. I couldn't very well compete with my kids as an adult. That would be unreasonable. Thinking of this, I moved the bed into Baisusu's room. The space was large enough to fit this bed. All four sides were fenced to prevent the children from rolling off. When Baisusu saw the bed, her eyes lit up. She came over and sniffed it, her eyes full of pleasant surprise. This color, this fragrance, and this feel. It was golden thread Nanmu for sure. "Yi Fan, where did you get this golden thread Nanmu bed?" Baisusu looked at me, her beautiful face full of shock. "You should know that golden thread Nanmu is very hard to obtain. It's basically priceless but unavailable." Her grandfather had also wanted to buy a golden thread Nanmu bed before, but he couldn't find one anywhere. Golden thread Nanmu was just too hard to find. Even now, her grandfather was still constantly thinking about it. She hadn't expected that the wood her grandfather hadn't been able to find for several years would appear in Yifan's hands. This was too shocking. How on earth did he do it? A friend gave it to me. I wasn't too shocked. Anyway, there'd be more of this in the future. It wasn't worth being too concerned about. The system was basically my friend. Baisusu was a bit surprised. What kind of friend could casually give away golden thread Nanmu? Looking at my calm appearance, was it that I didn't know the value of golden thread Nanmu, or did I really not care about it? You should know that many wealthy families are searching for a piece of golden thread Nanmu, some to make beds, some for furniture, yet they can't find it. Alright, it's just golden thread. Nanmu, there will be more in the future. You're still in your confinement period, try not to get out of bed. Get back up there. I got this for the children. The four little ones will sleep on this from now on. With that, I went and picked up the four babies one by one and placed them on the crib. Only after finishing this did I smile with satisfaction. Hearing my words, Baisusu was quite speechless. What did I mean by, "It's just golden thread Nanmu"? This thing would definitely cause a frenzy if taken outside. Even if it was only suitable for small children to sleep on, it was still priceless. At this moment, I pulled out a quaint wooden box from my pocket. I opened it to see four necklaces lying inside. The pendants looked exceptionally beautiful, no matter how you viewed them. "Yi Fan, did you buy these for the children?" Baisusu's eyes lit up, full of affection. Inside the transparent stone of the pendant was a small red stone, which was very peculiar. "I bought them for the children. One for each of the four little ones to keep them safe." I also noticed the affection in Baisusu's eyes. Sure enough, girls all love this kind of jewelry. Unfortunately, these were for my daughters. I took out one and put it on the eldest, Yi Bing. The pendant glowed slightly, and a character appeared on the small red stone inside. It was the character Bing for the eldest name, Yi Bing. I was instantly shocked by this scene. As expected, this pendant is truly extraordinary. I put them on the second, third, and fourth child as well. Inside the same pendants, the red stones all revealed their respective names. Congratulations to the host for completing the recognition of the babies' names. Reward: Constitution +5, Appearance +3, Personal Charm +3, Intelligence +5. Holy cow, I can even add attribute points? At this rate, I'm about to take off. Baisusu looked at me at this moment. For some reason, she felt that I had suddenly become much more handsome and significantly more attractive. Come to think of it, I was already at the school grass, most handsome guy level back in school, but now she felt I seemed even more likable. Yet, my facial features hadn't changed. Was it just her psychological illusion? By the way, Susu, I also bought some milk powder for the kids to develop their brain intelligence. There are 4 cans in total outside. I heard the results are great, so I bought them. I see. I'll have Auntie May prepare it. However, a flicker of disappointment flashed in Baisusu's eyes. He was so good to the children, but he seemed to have forgotten about her. But then again, we only reached this stage because of the children. This kind of emotion was a bit petty. Baisusu, what on earth are you overthinking? It's impossible between you and Yifan. Naturally, I happened to catch that flash of disappointment in Baisusu's eyes. I smiled slightly, my eyes full of tenderness. I knew this girl was jealous because I gave the baby so many gifts. Susu, look at this. I approached Baisusu and casually produced another wooden box from nowhere. It was slightly larger than the previous one. What is this? Baisusu asked in surprise upon seeing the wooden box. Is this another gift for the kids? Why are there so many gifts? I gave a mysterious smile. You'll know once you open it. Looking at Baisusu's puzzled little face, I really wanted to step forward and pinch her cheeks. But fearing I might scare her, I had to restrain myself. Baisusu glanced at me before slowly opening the box. Inside were 2 jade bracelets. Both were made of rare purple jade. They were stunning. Baisusu fell in love with the bracelets at first sight. They were the most beautiful jade bracelets she had ever seen. Since it was a pair, they were for a couple, or rather, husband and wife bracelets. Thinking of this, Baisusu's face couldn't help but flush slightly, though she quickly returned to normal. She hadn't expected that Yifan hadn't forgotten her. He had prepared gifts for both the children and her. For a moment, she felt a bit at a loss. Why was he being so good to her? She had made it so clear that it was impossible between them. Baisusu really wanted to clarify things again. But when she looked up and saw my gentle face, she couldn't bear to do it. Bringing it up now would probably be a total mood killer and make him very sad. Let me put it on for you. I picked up one of the bracelets and took hold of Baisusu's small hand. That fair, smooth hand made my mind wander for a moment. Wow, these hands are truly beautiful. At that moment, I thought to myself that I needed the baby's mother to accept me as soon as possible. Such a great beauty couldn't be allowed to be snatched away by someone else. Seeing the expensive gifts for the babies and herself, Baisusu assumed I had taken out a loan for the money. She insisted on taking out her 1 million to help me pay off the debt. Baisusu looked at the pajamas in front of her. The off-white silk felt smooth and soft to the touch. The quality was amazing, but where did Yifan get the money? She had been used to luxury goods since childhood, but she felt these silk pajamas were far better than any she had worn before. Of course, good things weren't cheap. The strollers, the necklaces, the bracelets, these all cost money. Where on earth did this guy get so much money? Baisusu couldn't help but start worrying. Did Yifan take out a high-interest loan? If it was a loan, it would be like a bottomless pit. The more she thought about it, the more worried she became. If it wasn't a loan, she really couldn't think of any other way to get so much money at once. No, I must ask clearly. Since it was still early, if he paid it back now, it might be fine. The problem wouldn't be too big to solve. She still had about 1 million in her bank card. That should be enough to pay it off, right? Yifan. Baisusu called out to me from the bedroom. She felt that Auntie Yi shouldn't know about this, otherwise she would be worried sick. It was best if only the 2 of them knew. In the living room, hearing Baisusu call me, I walked in immediately. Was she feeling unwell or something? Susu, why do you look so pale? I'm not unwell. Close the door, I have something to say to you, Baisusu said, looking heavy-hearted. All right, I closed the door, feeling a bit uneasy. Baisusu was always very composed. For her to call me in and ask me to close the door to speak privately, something big must have happened. Could it be something with her family? Thinking of this, I couldn't help but get nervous. My heart seemed to tighten. With worry in my eyes, I looked at Baisusu. my voice tinged with urgency. Tell me, what exactly happened? Bai Susu was taken aback for a moment but quickly composed herself. She assumed Yifan didn't realize she had figured it out yet. But it didn't matter, they would face the difficulties together. Yifan, actually, I know everything. Don't hide it from me. Did you take out loans to buy all these things? There's about $1 million in this card. Take it and pay them back. As she spoke, Bai Susu stuffed the card into my hand. Although this was the money she had saved up over time, she didn't think twice in this situation. It was better to solve the problem first. Money is an external thing. If it's gone, you can find a way to make more later. She saw and understood his heart for the children. She wasn't sure if this money was enough. Yifan, if it's not enough, I'll find another way. We will definitely get through this, Bai Susu said, looking at me with determined eyes. Yes, she could ask her parents or her grandfather for some money. She just needed a reasonable excuse. I looked at the girl in front of me and was truly stunned. She was worrying about me in every way, even giving me her last $1 million to pay off a loan. How did I deserve such a wonderful girl? Heaven has truly been kind to me. In this lifetime, I have set my heart on Bai Susu. I will never fail her. As expected, my mom was right. To meet such a good girl was truly the luck of 8 lifetimes. In the beginning, it was for the children and out of a sense of responsibility. Of course, there was also some guilt, since it was because of me that this talented and beautiful girl ended up like this, so I wanted to compensate her, be good to her, and give the children a happy home. That's why I chose Bai Susu. Of course, there were some feelings involved too, but at this moment, I suddenly realized that I had truly fallen in love with this kind-hearted girl. Susu, in this life, I will marry no one but you. Don't even think about shaking me off. I only want you. Although you won't accept me right now for whatever reason, I will work hard to make you. Promise me, I will give you a grand wedding, a 10-mile red dowry just for you. Of course, it's fine if you don't believe me now. Talk is cheap. I will prove it to you. Please wait for me. My handsome face was incredibly serious, as if I were making a vow, and my eyes held a light that couldn't be ignored. At this moment, Bai Susu felt her whole body go stiff. Her face was full of shock, and her eyes were fixed on me. What this boy said had a massive impact on her. How many people could say such things? He said he'd marry no one else. He said a 10-mile red dowry just for her. Finally, he said to wait for him. Wait for such a youth. Bai Susu, did you hear that? It would be a lie to say she wasn't moved. But returning to reality, for some reason at this moment, she actually hated that she was born into a wealthy, powerful family. My money comes from legitimate sources, so don't worry, keep the money for yourself. With me here, even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up, understand? As I spoke, I slowly stood up and reached out to pat Bai Susu's head. The tenderness in my eyes seemed as if it were about to overflow. In fact, I had wanted to do this for a long time, but I hadn't dared to, fearing her reaction. This time, my wish was fulfilled. I finally patted Susu's head. That soft hair was truly warm. I loved this feeling. No wonder couples in love like to pat the girl's head. Silly girl, don't be so moved that you cry. A girl's tears are pearls. Besides, it breaks my heart when you cry. With that, I left the room. Actually, I knew doing this would make things difficult for Bai Susu, but if I didn't say it, how would she ever know my feelings? Sometimes, humans just have to speak up. Mom was standing in the living room watching me come out. Son, good job! You've got your father's style. Mom looked at her son with eyes full of praise. Not bad, as expected of my son. I laughed helplessly. Holy cow! While I was expressing my heart inside, Mom was actually eavesdropping at the door. This is too much. Is she really my biological mother? Too much? Is it not okay for me to listen? I'm your mother. Besides, I was just worried about you two. I thought something had happened, but it was just a false alarm. I even heard this kid's confession. Not bad at all. It was so moving, it could bring tears to one's eyes. My son really has some moves. Hearing my mom's words, I instantly laughed. Look at this mother of mine. Whenever she's dissatisfied with me, she says I'm not her son. But as soon as I show some promise, she says I'm definitely her son. My mom's personality is truly lively. Dad must have had a hard time with this personality back then. I felt a momentary second of pity for Dad. Mom, you and Auntie May have worked hard today. I'll cook this meal, let you all taste my skills. I had the skills of a junior chef. Surely I could satisfy Mom and the others. These pajamas were just bought, Mom said, looking at the new pajamas in front of Bai Susu. The color and the feel are so good. Yes, Bai Susu blinked and nodded at Mom. Yifan gave them to me. I really do like these pajamas though. Not bad, not bad. That boy Yifan knows how to cherish his wife now. He's improved. Mom nodded. As expected of her precious son, it looked like Bai Susu really liked them. I'll go wash them and air them out for you in a bit. Then you can wear them. It's better to wash clothes you just brought home. After all, you never know if they've caught any dust. Thank you, Auntie, Bai Susu said sweetly. Since she couldn't touch cold water right now, she had to rely on Yesti's mother, Auntie May, and Yefan to take care of her. Silly girl, I told you not to be so polite with your Auntie Yi. We'll be one family sooner or later. Mom patted the back of Bai Susu's hand, her eyes full of affection. She truly liked this daughter-in-law immensely. On the side, Auntie May knew what to ask and what not to ask. She didn't pry into anything. The salary this family gave was high, so she just needed to do her job well. At this time, Auntie May looked at Bai Susu and said, Sister Yi, let me go wash them. You stay with Miss Bai. Miss Bai, do you have any other dirty clothes? I'll wash them all together. After all, Auntie May was hired to help, while Mom looked after her out of genuine intent, so she was naturally more polite toward Mom. It's fine, it's my duty. With that, Auntie May found the clothes and went to wash them. There was an automatic washing machine, but these clothes needed to be separated, and some had to be hand-washed. You've worked hard, child, Mom said to Bai Susu with heartache. Eat more tonight, Yifan is making something delicious for you. That boy has changed so much. He never cooked at home. I don't even know if it's edible. I've never seen him learn to cook, so how does he know how? Maybe it's different now that he's a dad. Did he secretly learn behind my back? Auntie, don't worry. Yifan is very steady in what he does. He won't do something he's not sure of. Maybe his cooking is actually delicious, Bai Susu said, glancing at the kitchen again. Mom smiled and said, You just know how to praise him. Be careful or he'll get cocky. This kid can't be praised too much, or he'll get ahead of himself. Seeing Bai Susu's expression, her impression of Yifan was quite good. It seemed there was hope for him to become official. This kid really has some skills. Auntie Yi, actually Yifan and I. All right, I know, say no more. You two handle your own business. As far as I'm concerned, you are my daughter-in-law and my half-daughter. Mom immediately interrupted Bai Susu. She knew what Bai Susu was gonna say. She wasn't that old-fashioned. What kind of society is this? It's the 21st century, not their era anymore. She understood. Soon, several of them smelled a burst of fragrance. It was the scent of food. Not bad, not bad. I just don't know how it tastes. Mom, Susu, Auntie May, time to eat. I came to Bai Susu's bedroom and said with a smile, this was my first official time showing off my skills, so I was a bit excited. I wondered if they would like my cooking. If it wasn't good, I'd just study it more. Besides, this was a culinary skill rewarded by the system. I still had some confidence deep down. Coming, let's taste your skills. If it's not good, you eat it all yourself, Mom joked. I put all the dishes on the table. Eat first, then we'll talk. Susu, do you want to come out to eat, or should I bring a bit of everything to the room for you? You silly boy, let her eat in the bedroom so she doesn't catch a draft, Mom said, looking at me with disapproval. Yifan, just close the windows. I can come out to eat. She had no appetite eating alone in the room. Food tastes better when everyone eats together. Hearing this, I immediately closed the living room windows and all the room doors so no draft would blow in. After closing everything, I went back to the bedroom. Just to be safe, how about you put on a light jacket? Okay. Bai Susu found a thin jacket to wear and prepared to walk out of the room. Susu, let me help you. I'm worried your legs might hurt. After all, it's only been a few days since you gave birth. Bai Susu looked up at me a bit confused. Her legs were fine. Why would they hurt? That was strange. Then Bai Susu thought about it, and her face instantly turned red. She suddenly understood what I meant. You pervert! Bai Susu was both angry and annoyed, her beautiful eyes holding a trace of resentment. Susu, don't be angry, I won't say it again, I said in a panic. I swear I really wasn't thinking anything bad. Susu's face was flushed with shame and anger, her cheeks slightly puffed out. Her beautiful eyes were both resentful and angry. She looked incredibly cute. Looking at Bai Susu like that, I really wanted to reach out and poke her puffed up cheeks. She looked like a little pufferfish, both fun and pretty to look at. But in the end, I held back. I was worried I'd make her explode with anger, which wouldn't be good. I was wrong. I promise I won't think about it again. Bai Susu gave me a cold snort and walked straight out. Auntie Ye and Auntie Mei were waiting outside. They couldn't be kept waiting. Seeing Bai Susu sit down, I took the initiative to show my devotion. This is pigeon soup. Drink more. It should help increase the supply for the babies. The day before we came back, Bai Susu already had a supply, but she said it wasn't much. Bai Susu's face turned red instantly. Good heavens, how could this guy ask so casually? Doesn't he find it hard to say? She felt her face burning hot. You kid need to work hard to earn money for the milk powder. You're a dad now, don't let little Susu suffer, understand? Mom, don't worry, there's milk powder money. Besides the money I spent earlier, I have about 5 million left. Yi Fan, your cooking is really delicious. Bai Susu couldn't help but praise while eating the ribs. She thought she had no appetite, but she finished 2 large bowls. If she wasn't afraid of gaining weight, she would have eaten to her heart's content today. This kid is actually useful for something. Mom looked at her son. This was the best tasting food she had ever had. There's some food on the corner of your mouth from eating. I pulled out a tissue and gently wiped the corner of Bai Susu's mouth. This intimate gesture gave Mom a mouthful of dog food, witnessing public displays of affection. Yi Fan, I miss your father, Mom said gloomily. Eating her son's dog food was really not a pleasant feeling. Yi Fan, I want to take a bath. Right after coming home from the hospital, Bai Susu wanted to wash. She couldn't help it. She felt she smelled too much. Silly girl, you have to endure it. You can't take a bath. It's only been how many days? If you wash now, you'll catch a cold and leave a permanent ailment, Mom said. Her brow furrowed. It's only the 4th day. How can you bathe? Susu, you can't bathe now. You have to wait until the confinement month is over. Auntie Mei also immediately tried to persuade her, but my body smells so bad and it's sticky and uncomfortable, Bai Susu said aggrievedly. She even discussed it herself. If she didn't wash, she probably wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. She already disgusted herself when she was in the hospital and wanted to wash then, but it was inconvenient. Once she got home, she naturally wanted to wash up quickly. During confinement, you can't bathe, you can't wash your hair, and you definitely can't catch a draft. There were many taboos, all for the sake of one's health. Auntie Yi, Auntie Mei, and Yi Fan. Just let me wash. I'll just wipe down with a towel. I'm really miserable. I wanted to wash in the hospital. It just wasn't convenient. All right then. But remember, don't wash your hair. If anything happens, call me. I'll be right at the bathroom door. I sighed helplessly, my eyes full of worry. But seeing Bai Susu so aggrieved, I really couldn't bear to refuse. What could I do? I had no choice but to agree. Susu, remember to only wipe down using very hot water. And definitely don't wash your hair, or you'll get headaches when you're older, Mom mumbled, still uneasy. Don't worry, Auntie, I know. I won't wash my hair, Bai Susu said happily. All right, I'll find you a change of clothes. Those pajamas should be dry. The sun was quite strong this afternoon, Mom said as she went to collect the clothes. Actually, you don't have to stand at the door. I'll be quick, Bai Susu said with a blush. It felt weird having someone standing outside. Actually, I'd rather help you. I'm worried you'll fall inside. I looked at Bai Susu's beautiful face with great concern, my brow furrowed so tightly it could have crushed a mosquito. You pervert! A blush colored Bai Susu's face. Her long eyelashes trembled and her eyes grew panicked. She hadn't expected me to say such a thing. I'm serious, don't misunderstand. I'm just worried because your mobility is a bit limited. I'm saying, just in case you slip. I don't want you to be hurt in the slightest. I don't need your help, Bai Susu said, clutching her clothes and entering the bathroom. Her heart was thumping incessantly, as if it were going to jump out the next second. It's all that guy Yi Fan's fault, otherwise I wouldn't be like this. Her face was definitely bright red. That guy was truly detestable. Though they had a history, it was an accident involving alcohol. And they didn't remember anything, okay? Remember to use hot water and don't wash your hair. Also, don't lock the door, I'm waiting for you right outside. If something happens, give me a shout and I'll be there immediately. Be careful. I was sure she could hear me. But if this girl kept overthinking like this, what would happen in the future? It was such a headache. Besides, I was being very decent. I was just worried about her. How could she think of me that way? I, Yi Fan, am a true gentleman who never does anything bad. This girl's misunderstanding of me is deep. It seems I'll have to find a way to explain properly in the future. My lifelong reputation can't be ruined like this. Still, she looked so cute just now. As I reminisced, my heart couldn't help but pound wildly. This is my wife, even if I haven't married her yet. Inside, Bai Susu bit her teeth in anger. Humph, what kind of talk is that? Give a shout and he'll be there immediately. Humph, what a bad person. Bai Susu's mind was echoing my words when her foot suddenly slipped, and she actually fell. A sharp scream suddenly rang out. My first reaction was to rush in. My heart was in my throat. My wife couldn't be allowed to get hurt. My slender hand directly twisted the doorknob, and in the next second, I was about to push the door open. "Don't come in!" Bai Susu shouted in a panic. Heavens, if he came in now, that would be disastrous. In her desperation, she could only shout. I'm reaching in to turn off the light first. As I spoke, I opened the door just a tiny crack, letting my hand reach in to find the light switch. I knew what Bai Susu was worried about. Once the light was off, nothing could be seen, so she probably wouldn't be afraid. Wait for me, don't move, be careful not to fall again. My face was full of anxiety. What should I do? I suddenly thought of something and went straight to my bedroom to bring out a quilt. I've turned off the light, rest assured I can't see anything. I even reached out to turn off the living room light. I went in, wrapped Bai Susu directly in the quilt, and then carried her into my bedroom in a princess carry. When Mom and Auntie May came out, they saw it was pitch black outside. Mom even saw her son carrying Bai Susu into his room. Auntie May was about to follow out of worry, but Mom pulled her back and shook her head. The two went back to Bai Susu's bedroom to look after the babies. Their business should be handled by themselves. This was a great opportunity. Naturally, she had to let her son make the most of it. Hee, good job, son. Yi Fan, what are you doing? Bai Susu wrapped herself tightly in the quilt, hiding her little face inside. At this moment, she didn't dare look at me. Are you hurt anywhere? Does it hurt? Do you want me to take you to the hospital? I said worriedly. I was truly afraid something had happened to my wife. How could this girl be so careless? My heart was trembling just now. How could she be so reckless? Taking a bath was so dangerous. I wonder where she fell. I'm fine. No need for the hospital. It's just... Bai Susu clutched the quilt inside, not daring to look at me. She felt she had lost so much face. Truly, in her 19 years, she had never been this embarrassed. She wished she could find a hole to crawl into. For such a thing to happen, and then to be wrapped in a quilt and carried out by me, her dignity was completely gone at this moment. She felt annoyed, panicked, and ashamed. She was angry at herself for being so useless. This was going to be a black mark on Bai Susu's record for her entire life. Just what? Did you get hurt somewhere? Let me see. Worried, I patted the quilt, but very gently. I was afraid that if I used too much force, I'd hurt her or make her angry. No, I just feel so embarrassed. I can't face anyone anymore. Bai Susu began to sob. Woo-woo inside the quilt. You silly girl. Only you and I know, so what's there to be embarrassed about? I won't tell anyone. Besides, I'm not an outsider. Don't cry, let me see if you're hurt. I'll find some medicine to rub on. Hearing Bai Susu cry made me even more flustered. It felt like my heart was breaking. My dignity is gone. Woo-woo, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so useless. I'm so pathetic. Bai Susu sat up and started crying, still with the quilt over her head. I carefully pulled the quilt off her head, revealing a small head. Her long hair was a bit messy, and her beautiful face was flushed red. Her eyes were red, and her long eyelashes were wet as she looked at me with teary eyes, her nose sniffing. Seeing this pear blossom bathed in rain, look, my heart truly shattered with pity. It's okay, it was just an accident, don't take it to heart. No one knows, and I won't say a word. I pulled Bai Susu into my arms to comfort her. Stop crying. If you keep crying, my heart is going to break. After all, the fact that Bai Susu could show such a true and vulnerable side in front of me meant the distance between us was closing bit by bit. This was a good thing. Susu, let me see if you're hurt. My mom and Auntie May haven't noticed yet. It'll be bad once they do, I said with a look of concern. Oh, that. Can you help me get the pajamas from the bathroom? Otherwise, it's not very convenient. Bai Susu's voice got even quieter at the end, and she didn't dare look at me. She figured the quilt she was wrapped in must be dirty now. How distressing. Bai Susu wanted to scream to the heavens to vent her embarrassment. Okay, wait for me. I let go of Bai Susu and went to get her pajamas. Here, your pajamas. I'll go get the medicine box. I saw some marks in the bathroom. You must have had a nasty fall. With that, I walked out and even closed the door. After getting the medicine box, I knocked on the door. Susu, are you ready? Can I come in? I didn't dare just walk in. I had to knock first. It would be bad if I made my wife angry. Come in, Bai Susu said. Her stunning face was still flushed, likely still embarrassed about earlier. The pajamas seemed tailor-made for her. They fit perfectly. The moment she put them on, she felt her skin was cool and comfortable. She didn't know where I had bought them, but they were exceptionally high quality. All right, come here. Let me see where you're hurt so I can apply some medicine, I said, sitting on the edge of the bed. My knees and my elbows a bit. With that, Bai Susu rolled up her sleeves and I saw her elbow was quite red. See, this is the consequence of being careless. Let's see if you dare to be like this next time. It's even turning a bit purple. Looking at the red and purplish elbow, my eyes were full of pity and heartache. My heart ached immensely. The saying was true, the pain is on her body, but the ache is in my heart. I carefully applied the medicinal oil. Does it hurt? It doesn't hurt, Bai Susu smiled. In that instant, it was as if 100 flowers had bloomed, and I was momentarily dazed. Bai Susu was very well behaved and stayed still, quietly watching me apply the medicine. In this moment, it felt as if only the two of them existed in the world. They could each feel the other's heartbeat and breathing. Looking at him this way, Yifan was actually very handsome. His skin was fair, his eyebrows were like swords, and his eyes like stars. His features were exquisite, to the point of being almost perfect. His serious look was truly captivating. Bai Susu couldn't help but feel shy at this moment, her heart beating abnormally fast. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel this way? I shouldn't. It's impossible between us. If I fall for Yifan, it would be the same as harming him. Okay, let me see your knees. I looked up at Bai Susu and said, I'll apply hydrogen peroxide first. Bear with it. It might sting a little. It's fine, I've given birth. Why would I be afraid of this bit of pain? Bai Susu said softly, her eyes looking a bit different at that moment. All right. I took out the hydrogen peroxide, dabbed a cotton swab, and applied it to the wound. My movements were exceptionally gentle. I felt deep heartache for her, though I didn't know how to put it into words. Bai Susu's gaze just now made me a bit uneasy because it was too unfamiliar. So unfamiliar that it made him a bit afraid. What was she thinking just now? Soon after applying the medicine, I lightly wrapped it with gauze to prevent it from rubbing against her clothes. There, keep it away from water. Thank you, Bai Susu said slowly. Her gaze was flickering, not daring to meet my eyes. My heart twitched sharply, and I gave a slightly forced smile. I reached out and patted Bai Susu's head. Let me comb your hair for you. It's a bit messy. Bai Susu's body trembled slightly, but she didn't dodge. For some reason, she felt a mysterious sense of security. Okay, Bai Susu hadn't even realized she'd agreed until the word was out. At this point, it wasn't good to go back on her word, so she could only agree. Sit here, I'll braid your hair for you. It'll be more convenient. Braiding it makes it much easier to manage and less messy. Okay, do as you see fit. Bai Susu had no objection. Anyway, whatever was convenient was best. After all, during the confinement month, she didn't care much about being pretty. I looked at the long hair in my hands, my eyes full of tenderness. I hoped time would forever freeze in this warm moment. To make traveling with the babies easier, I decided to go buy a car today. I had just arrived at the entrance of a car dealership when a pretty girl walked over with a smile. She didn't look very old. Hello, sir. How should I address you? If you're here to look at cars, please step inside, the female salesperson said with a smile, making a please gesture. She had only started 3 days ago. In those 3 days, she hadn't met a single customer. As soon as I walked in, she saw me and came right over. Several women nearby also saw me, but seeing my clothes, they instantly lost interest. Someone wearing street stall clothes like that. What kind of good car could he afford? Thank you. My surname is Ye. I'm not sure what car to buy. I'm mainly looking for one that feels right. This was to be my first car, so the price wasn't important. The fate or feeling was. I still had nearly 5 million in my card. Buying a car was easy. Bai Susu's fall yesterday still left me with lingering fears. If something serious happened, I wouldn't even be able to get her to the hospital in time. Then I'll go get you a glass of water first, the salesperson said and left happily. This was her first customer of the day. Xiao Li, look at that man's clothes. He can only afford a god car, cheap domestic car. Your judgment isn't quite there yet. You need more practice. Judging people is also a skill. We'll teach you well another day." A slightly older woman nearby looked very disdainful. Buying a god car is already generous. Why even bother serving water? Maybe he's just in here to look and can't even afford to buy. Why bother greeting him? "I understand, Sister Ching, thanks," Xiaoli said humbly and left with the water. She didn't have many thoughts. Anyone who walked through the door was a guest, and greeting anyone was the same. It was fine if they didn't buy. If they did, wouldn't that be better? Weren't they in the service industry? "Mr. Yi, please have some water," Xiaoli said as she approached me. I nodded and took the disposable cup. "Thank you." Looking at the cars, I seemed to have taken a fancy to that 5 Rings Audi model. It was a matte gray sedan. "Can you introduce this one to me?" I looked at the 5 Rings car with liking in my eyes. "Sir, this is this year's new model, the 5 Rings A7, valued at 700,000. This is the most handsome car of this brand. Its performance is excellent and the driver and passenger seats are very spacious, and it can automatically recognize routes for safe automated driving." She had only been there for 3 days. All of this was from rote memorization. She didn't know any deeper technical details. "Not bad, I'll take it," I nodded. I truly liked this car. Fate was something you couldn't explain. If you like it, you like it. "Sir, are you sure you want to buy this car?" Xiaoli said excitedly. This was her first order. This car was worth 700,000. If it really sold, her commission would be significant. "This is the one. Hurry up and handle the paperwork. You can just swipe the card directly," I said, pulling out a bank card. I wanted to get back early to look after the children and couldn't afford to waste too much time here. "All right then, sir. Please come over to this counter. I'll go grab the contract and relevant documents right now." As she spoke, Zayli jogged away. I smiled as I watched the girls retreating back, glanced at the bank card in my hand, and slowly walked over to the counter to wait. Soon, Xiaoli returned with the POS terminal and took my card. As soon as she saw the successful transaction, she became even more excited. It was wonderful. She had finally sold a car. "Hello, sir, please come to the office. Processing the paperwork will take some time. Have some tea and rest for a bit." At this time, the sales manager followed along. This young man had actually paid the full amount for the car in one go. This was a major client. These days, it was truly rare to see someone pay 700,000 or 800,000 all at once without even blinking. "All right, thank you." I followed the man in the suit into the office, while Xiaoli went to brew some tea. "Mr. Ye, did you bring your ID card?" "I'll need to use it," Xiaoli asked as she placed the tea in front of me after brewing it. "I brought it. Here. Could you possibly make it a bit faster? I'm in a hurry, thanks." I pulled out my ID and gave it to Xiaoli. "Certainly, Mr. Yi, please wait a moment. I'll be as quick as possible," Xiaoli said, taking the ID and heading out. The sales manager looked at me with eyes full of admiration. For such a young man to be able to pay 700,000 darovi in full for a car was truly impressive. Dressed so simply, he must be the young master of some prominent family. "Mr. Yi, are you still in university? You look quite young," the sales manager said with a smile. "Not that small. I'm an adult. I am indeed in university." I nodded. "I'm a grown man, so what's small about that?" "Young and promising," the sales manager nodded at me. This youth was impressive, calm and composed. Very likable. "You flatter me," I said with a smile. How was I, young and promising? This was all thanks to the system. If I hadn't activated the system, how could I have such achievements? I was even called a pauper by my ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan. I remember just a week ago, she wanted to dump me. A week later, the current me has truly changed a lot. "Sir, it's all set once you sign here. This is a temporary license plate. Once the official plates arrive, you'll need to come back once to have them installed," Xiaoli said, walking in with the contract. I signed my name with a few quick strokes, walked out with the contract, got in the car, and prepared to start the engine and leave. The salesperson who had been trying to teach Xiaoli how to judge people earlier was now staring in disbelief. How could he possibly have the money to buy a car of this level? She felt that her self-righteousness and habit of judging a book by its cover had caused her to miss a massive order. Now she wanted to kick herself. This was my very first car, so I was naturally thrilled deep down. Moreover, I really liked this car. I intentionally drove 2 laps across the bridge before heading home. Upon entering the house, I saw Mom and Auntie May chatting. "Son, you're back! Dinner is ready and waiting for you," Mom said immediately upon seeing me return. I bought a car today to make traveling easier in the future. I also bought a few things. I put the items in the living room and headed toward the bedroom. I'm gonna check on Susu and the kids. Susu and the babies are asleep, so keep your voice down, Mom instructed. She clearly didn't take my mention of buying a car to heart. She probably assumed it was an electric scooter. Don't worry, I nodded, cautiously opened the door and walked in. I saw the one adult and 4 little ones all sleeping soundly. For some reason, every time I come back from going out, the first thing I want to do is see the kids and Susu. Only when I see them do I feel at peace. You're back? I was waiting for you to come back for dinner, but I fell asleep all of a sudden. Bai Susu slowly woke up. Seeing me sitting by the bed, she sat up and spoke. This guy was back, so why didn't he wake her? She didn't know how long he had been sitting there. Fortunately, she was a very light sleeper and would wake up at the slightest movement. It's fine. Did I wake you? If you're tired, why don't you sleep a bit longer? I said gently. No, I was just dozing. You must be hungry, let's go eat. It's about that time. Speaking of which, I was a bit hungry too. All right, let's go eat. As I spoke, I brought over Bai Susu's slippers and personally helped her put them on. By the time Bai Susu reacted, her slippers were already on. Her heart felt nervous. Why was this guy so thoughtful? It made her mind feel a bit jumbled. It was the first time a boy had ever put on her shoes for her. This feeling made her a bit panicked, but mostly warm. Why did this guy seem so gentle no matter how she looked at him? Let's go. I reached out both hands and looked at Bai Susu seriously. I was hoping she would respond to my gesture. Bai Susu looked at those slender hands. She really wanted to place her hands on them, but she restrained herself and stood up by pressing against the edge of the bed. I smiled and withdrew my hands, a flash of disappointment in my eyes. It was fine. There was still plenty of time. I believed I could earn Bai Susu's recognition. When the two of them reached the living room, Mom and Auntie May had already laid out the food. It was a rich, full meal that made one's appetite soar. Eat up, Susu, eat more, Mom said as she took the lead in serving Bai Susu a bowl of pig trotter soup. Someone in their confinement month needs to drink more soup to nourish the body. Yeah, eat more, you've gotten thin. I also placed a piece of rib on Bai Susu's plate. I had noticed last time that this girl really liked eating ribs. I'm really afraid that by the time I finish my confinement month, I'll have become very fat, Bai Susu said with a smile, her eyes full of tenderness. Her body hadn't changed much yet, but if she kept eating like this, there was no guarantee she wouldn't be fat in a month. She definitely didn't want to become fat. Don't worry, no matter how fat you get, you'll still be my goddess. I won't mind, I said, smiling at her. I couldn't love her enough. How could I possibly mind if she got fat? This girl was truly adorable. Oh, stop, if I get fat, I won't look good, and I'll even dislike myself. Bai Susu pouted at me. What kind of talk was that? What did he mean by still his goddess, even if she got fat, and not minding her? He better not mind her. Even if she got fat, if he dared to dislike her, she would teach him a lesson. Yes, teach him a lesson. Good health is what matters most. Besides, Susu is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Auntie May had been a nanny for many families, but this was the first time she had seen a mistress of the house this beautiful. She had seen her own son's girlfriend, who was decent, but compared to Bai Susu, there was simply no comparison. Still, she was content. As long as her son didn't stay a bachelor, she'd thank the heavens. Son, your father is urging me to come back, Mom said after dinner. However, I've made an excuse. I won't go back to the hometown until Susu finishes her confinement. When that time comes, don't you dare bully Susu while I'm not around. I know, Mom. When it's time for you to go, I'll drive you back. I bought a car, so it's much more convenient. Wasn't the reason I bought a car for convenience? Besides, I wanted to see my dad. I heard you mention buying a car earlier. What brand is it? Auntie May asked. She hadn't had a chance to ask earlier, and now that it was brought up again, her curiosity was piqued. You driving me? I'd be worried. I'll just go back on my own when the time comes, Mom said nonchalantly. Mom, don't look down on your son. I bought one with 4 wheels, I said with a laugh. Yifan, you bought a car with 4 wheels? Mom stood up in shock. Where did her son get the money? This kid bought a car behind her back. How could he not tell her about such a big matter beforehand? A 4-wheeled vehicle would cost at least tens of thousands. Was he joking? What exactly had her son done to get tens of thousands? Had this kid done something behind her back? Thinking of this, Mom became even more nervous and even a bit scared. Yes, 4 wheels. Mom, Sit down first and I'll explain slowly. Look at how scared she was. Honestly, it's just a car. Is there a need for such shock? I had thought of an excuse long ago. All right, you'd better explain clearly, or your mother is going to be worried sick. Seeing how calm I was, Mom couldn't help but relax slightly. I did a bit of small business with a friend. Actually, I followed him in buying lottery tickets. His parents are professionals. I made some money and he wired it to me yesterday. Besides, it's just a car, no need to be so shocked. The baby's commercials will bring in hundreds of thousands too. Of course, I hadn't touched that money, it was all saved. I even admired my own lying skills. Buying lottery tickets can make money? That's too lucky, you're not lying to me? Mom looked at me suspiciously. Auntie, I know about this. Lottery tickets are a matter of luck. Bai Susu spoke up at this moment. Regardless of whether it was true, she felt she had to step in and help. All right then, since Susu says so, I believe it. So how much did you win on the lottery? Mom asked curiously. Not much, just enough to spend for now. About a few million. I shrugged easily and said nonchalantly. What? Mom was stunned. Had she heard wrong? Mom came over to me and reached out to feel my forehead. He didn't have a fever, so why was he talking such nonsense? A few million isn't much, and enough to spend for now? He must have gone crazy thinking about money. She didn't believe one could make millions from the lottery. Meanwhile, Bai Susu's face was full of shock. She was also in disbelief. Could one really make millions from the lottery? That's a 1 in a billion chance. She felt it was a bit far-fetched. Fine, see for yourselves, I still have the SMS records of the card swipe for the car. With that, I opened my phone and pulled up the text messages for my mom to see. Naturally, Bai Susu and Auntie May crowded around to stare at the phone. When they saw the text messages, they were all dazed. This was truly surreal. Yifan, are you serious? Bai Susu said, looking at me with some concern. Naturally, now that there were no outsiders, just the two of them and the 4 little ones, she asked out of worry. I knew what Bai Susu was referring to, so I nodded. What? You don't believe me? I wasn't angry, I just spoke gently. I knew she was worried about me, which is why she asked again. Has this silly girl not seen my heart yet? If she had no feelings, would she worry like this and think of me in everything? This was a good sign. No, I'm just a bit worried, that's all. Bai Susu looked at me with concern. She was truly worried. It wasn't about believing or not. Besides, what did believing matter? She just wanted to respect me. When it was time to speak, I would surely say it. Silly girl, I'm fine. You have to believe in your future husband, this little thing won't stump me. Besides, I'm super capable, I said, patting Bai Susu's head. What nonsense are you talking? Bai Susu's eyes flickered and a blush crept onto her face. This guy was truly shameless. How could he say that? Future husband. It was far too early for that. He hadn't even gotten the approval of her or her family, yet he wanted to be her husband? How is that possible? But why did it feel like a little deer was crashing around in her heart? She even felt a tiny bit of anticipation for the future. It's not nonsense. Look, we already have children. Would your family still break us apart? Even if they tried, could you bear to leave me and the kids? I'm so great. Could you really bear to leave? I believe I can do it. I'm working hard right now. I won't let you lose face in front of your family. I'll make them all envious that you have such a good husband. Every word hit Bai Susu's heart deeply, leaving a profound mark. When did this guy's eloquence get so good? He was making her feel quite moved. It's true I can't bear to leave the children, but leaving you is another story. Bai Susu rolled her eyes. This guy's skin was truly thick. He could say such embarrassing things so righteously. I'm the father of the children. If you can't bear to leave the children, doesn't that mean you can't bear to leave me? Don't argue, I know. You're just a dead duck with a hard beak. Stubborn. I've seen right through you. Bai Susu, you've been exposed. I looked at her with a beaming smile and even flicked the tip of her nose. So cute. This wife is mine. Stop talking nonsense. You're the one who's a dead duck. But how did I only just realize that you're the absolute master of thick-skinnedness? Bai Susu's angry little face was slightly red. Many thanks for the praise, wife. Your husband accepts it. I came back with eyes full of mirth. No matter what she said, I'd just play along. Isn't it normal to be soft toward one's future wife? Oh, you guy, you really think I'm praising you? Bai Susu suddenly burst out laughing. This guy was truly a character. Why hadn't she noticed before? Unknowingly, Bai Susu felt her heart changing. It wasn't as hard as it was at the start. She seemed to be caring more and more about me. Was this a good thing or a bad thing? Thinking of my earlier words, she felt they were right, but the people in her family were truly difficult. Could he really do it? If it didn't work out, she didn't want to pin it all on him. If it ended up being just a dream, they would be the ones suffering. She knew that without hope, there is no disappointment. What's wrong? I watched Bai Susu go from laughing to looking troubled. This girl was fine a moment ago. Why did her expression turn so sour all of a sudden? Yi-fan, actually, if you really want my family to recognize you, it's very hard. My family is very difficult to deal with and very snobbish. Aside from my grandfather, even my parents are sigh. How difficult and snobbish could they be? That only made it more of a challenge. How could I, Yi-fan, be afraid? For her and the children, I'd charge through a mountain of blades or a sea of fire if I had to. At this moment, I exuded an aura of unyielding defiance and refusal to compromise, leaving Bai Susu a bit stunned. When I snapped out of it, I saw her staring blankly at me, some emotion flickering in her eyes. Anyway, I didn't quite understand it. Have you really decided? Bai Susu looked at me and slowly sighed. Actually, she really wanted to tell Yi-fan to give up, but the words were swallowed back down. In the end, she couldn't say them. Bai Susu, what are you thinking? Of course, for her and the children, I'd naturally fight with everything I had. My eyes were full of powerful confidence. To me, I had the system. That was a cheat code. What was there to fear? If her family was snobbish, I'd just work hard to complete system tasks. Money and power would follow naturally. Yi-fan, actually, you don't have to be like this. I know it hasn't been easy for you to come this far step by step. I actually feel quite bad in my heart, but since things have reached this point, there's no other way. Bai Susu took a breath and glanced at the babies, her eyes full of pain. There was no way back. She could only endure everything and charge forward. So, you must believe in me. I looked at her with piercing eyes. Silly girl, you have me and the children. Even if the sky falls, I'll carry it. Susu, once your confinement is over, let's take care of the kids ourselves. If you want to go back to school to continue your studies, that's fine too. I spoke slowly. I knew she cared about her studies. Also, once the confinement month was over, I didn't plan on keeping Auntie May. My secrets were sensitive. You can know a person's face, but not their heart. What did you say? I can go back to school? Bai Susu looked at me in shock and disbelief. She had actually been considering this since she cared deeply about her education. But if she went to school, who would look after the babies? It was impossible to leave them entirely to a maternity matron, and she didn't trust a nanny either. Besides, many nannies are harsh with children, especially when they are this small. She was worried, so she never expected me to tell her to go back to school. If she went, he would have to look after the kids himself. But then what about his own studies? What parent doesn't want their child to graduate smoothly and find a good job? My doing this really worried her. Did Auntie Yi know about this? What would happen if she found out? From Mom's words, Bai Susu knew my relationship with my father wasn't great. If this kind of news reached my dad's ears, wouldn't he hit the roof? Of course. I know you love studying. I can look after the kids and study on my own. I'll just go in for the exams when the time comes. It's no problem. Of course, if you think it's too hard for me, you can just come back and help me look after them when you don't have classes. I'm planning not to hire outsiders anymore. I'll ask a friend to buy 2 robot butlers. What do you think? Bai Susu was shocked. He had thought of everything. She felt my idea was perfect and there was nothing wrong with it. But could robot butlers really take care of children? She'd heard of robots that could only clean the house, but she'd never heard of them taking care of children. Even in her own family, she'd never heard of such an operation. Did such robots really exist? I think your idea is great, but do those robots really exist? Bai Susu said with a smile. After a thought, she decided to give me a reminder anyway. They do, I've been following this area. I smiled easily, looking as if I had already found them. Bai Susu was a bit taken aback, but also helpless. Fine, it was all for the good of the babies. But since when did Yi-fan have such friends? His social circle seemed quite impressive. But about the school thing, can I really go to campus? Bai Susu asked, hesitantly. Of course, go if you want to. You have me behind you. I'm your solid support. I patted my chest and smiled brilliantly. Thank you, Yi-fan. Bai Susu reached out and hugged me, burying her small face in my chest. At this moment, she felt an immense sense of security. She felt she might not be able to hold on to her resolve. What should she do? Smelling the faint fragrance on Bai Susu, I felt a bit greedy for the moment. This girl was finally lowering her guard toward me bit by bit. That was great. It gave me hope. In the blink of an eye, a month passed. Today was the baby's full month milestone. Naturally, we didn't invite many people. Zhao Xiaotian came. It was an uninvited visit. Along with a few people from home, there were only 5 of us celebrating. Things on my dad's side were still unknown, so he couldn't come. I didn't expect the 4 little guys to look even better than before. Yi Fan, you've really reached the peak of life. Zhao Xiaotian looked at me, and then at Bai Susu, his eyes full of envy. When would he ever be like this? Sigh. Comparison is the thief of joy. He was the same age as me, but still an old bachelor. They're my kids, of course they look good. You should hurry up too. By the way, how are things at school? Pretty good, and I haven't said anything the school doesn't know. Sister-in-law's reputation is perfectly intact. Zhao Xiaotian was very tight-lipped. Once he knew about Bai Susu, he didn't spread rumors at school. Everyone believed the school beauty Bai Susu had taken a leave of absence for other reasons. Thanks. All right, let's eat. I'm really happy you could come, I said to Zhao Xiaotian. Of course I came. We're best buds, Zhao Xiaotian said with a grin. He had to come for his best friend's kid's full-month celebration. It wouldn't be right otherwise. Xiaotian, eat up. I'm also very happy you could come. My Yifan doesn't have many good friends. You should help each other out in the future, Mom said, even putting a chicken drumstick on Zhao Xiaotian's plate. This kid, Zhao Xiaotian, had been to our house before. Besides, he was my high school classmate, so the relationship between us was exceptionally good. She knew all of this. Don't worry, Auntie. Yifan and I will definitely be brothers for life, Zhao Xiaotian said, patting his chest. He was a very loyal person. Zhao Xiaotian knew this about himself, so he was also very happy to have a brother like me. None of us drank during the meal. Zhao Xiaotian had classes in the afternoon, so drinking wasn't good. I also needed to stay clear-headed to look after the kids. After a simple meal, Zhao Xiaotian returned to school. While I was washing the dishes in the kitchen, Bai Susu slowly walked in. Yi Fan, Zhao Xiaotian stuffed red envelopes for the kids. I opened them and saw there's 500 yuan. She had come to tell me as soon as she discovered it. Xiaotian doesn't have much money, yet he didn't forget to give red envelopes. He's really thoughtful. Keep it. If we try to give it back, that guy will probably get angry. I sighed. Congratulations to the host on the babies. Full month milestone. Special reward. 20% equity in Chang'an Enterprises, a top 500 national company. The host will become the 3rd largest shareholder. My hand trembled as I washed the dishes. What was going on? This was a system reward, but it felt different. What was this Chang'an Enterprises, a top 500 company? How did I become the 3rd largest shareholder? Yifan, what's wrong? Bai Susu called out, seeing me dazed. She had seen my hand tremble. Had something happened? Why such a reaction? Nothing. What could be wrong? Go rest. I'll be done with the dishes in a moment. Even though your confinement is over, you still need to be careful. All right then. Remember to tell me if anything's wrong. I'll do my best to help you. Bai Susu looked at me worriedly. After seeing nothing out of the ordinary for a few seconds, she left to look after the babies. At this moment, I was incredibly pleasantly surprised. I quickly finished the dishes and pulled out my phone to look up Chang'an Enterprises. Sitting on the sofa, I looked at the company profile. A Fortune Global 500 company. It really felt like a pie had fallen from the sky. This couldn't be compared to a system reward of a few million. This was equity in a corporation, 20% equity at that. The potential here was enormous. Only now did I feel I had the confidence to face Bai Susu's family. At this moment, I could finally stand tall. In such a large enterprise, a 20% stake must be worth over 10 billion. Only now did I truly feel like a wealthy person. It was wonderful that such a thing had happened to me. It felt like a dream. I could wake up laughing in my sleep. Tonight's dreams would surely be sweet. To lighten Bai Susu's burden, I decided to use robots to help look after the babies. My mom is going back to the hometown tomorrow, and Auntie May is leaving as well. I'll buy the robots back tomorrow. Naturally, I wouldn't say the robots were sent by the system. Of course, I'll support you if you want to go back to school to complete your studies. It's really nothing. People in university can get married and have children. Yifan, thank you, it's so good to have you. Bai Susu took the initiative to hug me. She was still very excited and thrilled at the thought of returning to school. "Since I'm so great, why haven't you fallen in love with me yet? If another woman gets to me first, you'll be crying with no tears left." "You guy, such a glib tongue." Bai Susu pushed me away gently and pounded her fist against my chest, her face full of playful annoyance. This guy was actually teasing her. Humph, how wicked. Why hadn't she seen this before? As the saying goes, women are good at makeup, men are good at disguises. So be it if I'm wicked, but I had to take things slowly or I'd scare her off. Look at this girl's flushed little face. It couldn't be any cuter. While she was dazed, I boldly kissed her on the cheek and then quickly ran away. Wow, that was amazing. The feeling was truly wonderful. This was the first time I had ever kissed a girl while sober. When I was dating Lu Ruyin, we hadn't even held hands, let alone kissed. That woman wouldn't let me touch her. Bai Susu just stood there blankly as I ran off. When she snapped out of it, her face was so red and hot, it looked like it might bleed the next second. This guy was actually bold enough to kiss her. Bai Susu felt hot all over, as if she could still feel my breath. It made the deer in her heart crash about, and her breathing grew a bit ragged. For some reason, she didn't feel disgusted. On the contrary, she felt a bit secretly pleased. What's wrong with me? Why would I have such a thought? It felt a bit sweet in her heart. Oh no, was she sick? Why did she feel this way? Watching my disappearing back, she felt a bit lost. Have I really fallen in love with him? Soon, I had Mom and Bai Susu pack up and change. We headed downstairs. We were going to take the babies for their full-month photos in a bit. When Bai Susu saw my car, a flash of surprise crossed her face. She knew I had bought a car. Before, she couldn't go out to see it because of her confinement. Seeing it now, it was a great car. The body was exceptionally cool, and it was the 5 Rings Audi brand. "Susu, do you know cars? What do you think of this one? I feel like it's just okay. A 700,000 yuan car doesn't seem to be anything special." Mom looked at the car with a frown. To her, it looked no different from any other car, just a means of transport. But her son liked it, so he bought it. It hadn't cost her any money anyway. "Auntie, this car is very good. The performance and appearance are both excellent. I also heard this car has a very high safety rating." Bai Susu touched the car. It was truly nice. "That's fine then. If Susu says it's good, then it's good," Mom said with a smile. She knew Bai Susu was a good girl, so she was very biased toward her. Tisk tisk. My own mom is truly biased. She didn't believe me when I said the car was good, yet she had to ask Bai Susu. As soon as Susu said it was good, she believed it immediately. Is there a mom like this? Honestly, I'm at a loss. Whose mother is she anyway? This bias is a bit much. Xiaofan, this is a good thing. Since ancient times, mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationships have been complicated. Seeing this scene, you don't have to worry. Auntie May laughed. We soon drove to the photo studio. The photographer complimented us from the moment we walked in until we left, saying how amazing we were to have quadruplets at once and how cute the babies were. Congratulations to the host for completing the baby's full-month photo task. Triggered hidden task reward. 2 longevity pills can extend life by 3 years each, and an additional 5% stake in Chang'an Group. Hearing the system's voice, surprise flashed in my eyes. I didn't expect something like longevity pills to appear. System, are you serious? Although these were good things, it made me feel this system wasn't simple at all. Now that pills were involved, would I one day meet an immortal? As we stepped out of the photo studio, my phone rang. Hello? I answered casually. Hello, I am the person in charge at Chang'an Enterprises. There are some contracts that need your attention. Do you have time right now? A woman's voice came from the other end. I understood immediately. It was about the equity. This was a big matter. Naturally, signing earlier would bring peace of mind. I have time. My heart was full of excitement. All right then. I'll send you the address in a bit. We can meet and talk in detail. Goodbye. The female manager on the other end also breathed a sigh of relief. She was very curious as to who this mysterious person was who could buy up the company's released shares in such a short time, and so many of them. Combined, it was a 25% stake. So she had stepped up personally, wanting to make contact with me, the newly appointed 3rd largest shareholder. Just when had this figure appeared? After sending Mom and Bai Susu home, I arrived at the agreed-upon cafe punctually in the afternoon. As soon as I entered, I saw a woman sitting by the window. She was wearing professional attire and a pair of glasses. Hello, I'm Yifan. This woman arrived quite early. I was over 10 minutes early myself, Yet she was already there. "Hello, Mr. Yi, my name is Jenny. I didn't expect you to be so young." The woman was momentarily stunned as she looked at the youth in front of her who appeared only about 20. She had imagined many possibilities. An elderly man, a middle-aged man. But she never expected a university student in his late teens or early 20s. Had she made a mistake? "Thank you, you're very beautiful as well." I nodded calmly. "You truly are young and promising. Here is the contract. It'll be all set once you sign." Jenny spoke slowly, her bright eyes curiously watching me. This youth was truly unique. Any man meeting her would usually show admiration, but Yi Fan showed no sign of being starstruck. Do I not look good? He wasn't awkward at all, and was very calm. Of course, he had a steadiness that didn't match his age. She grew more and more curious about this young man. What was his background? "Thank you, let me take a look." I nodded, took the documents and began reading. Jenny sat quietly to the side, even ordering a coffee for me. This young man was truly handsome, more so than the stars on TV. While I was reading, Jenny studied me seriously. This young man was truly unflappable, her gaze was quite direct, yet he had no reaction at all. Of course, I wasn't as calm as I appeared on the surface. This woman's gaze made me quite nervous, but thinking of the system, I immediately felt more confident. "Miss Jenny, I finished reading." I looked at the glamorous woman opposite me with a smile. This woman, the way she looked at me was completely undisguised. She might as well have said, "I'm very curious about you." Then let's sign the agreement, Mr. Ye. In the future, I will be your point of contact at the company." Jenny suddenly laughed, looking incredibly charming. "All right," I nodded, picked up the pen, and signed my name on the documents. Everything was settled. I breathed a sigh of relief. I was now officially the third largest shareholder of Chang'an Enterprises. "Congratulations, Mr. Ye. I'll take my leave now. Talk later." Jenny smiled at me and collected the documents. Goodbye." I watched her retreating back in deep thought. What was her position in the company? I felt this woman wasn't simple. She didn't seem like just a representative for Chang'an Enterprises. Moreover, the look in her eyes carried a strong sense of testing and curiosity. Well, maybe I'm overthinking it. When I returned home, I saw Auntie May cooking. My mom was in Bai Susu's room with the babies. "Son, your mother is going back tomorrow. You must take good care of Susu. You are not allowed to let her be wronged. If I find out, I'll definitely skin you alive." "Mom, don't worry, I can't love her enough. How could I let her be wronged?" I took Bai Susu's small hand, my handsome face full of pleasing affection. "Auntie, don't worry, Yi Fan won't bully me. Take care of your health when you go back," Bai Susu said, looking at Mom with a smile. How could Yi Fan possibly bully her? Bai Susu understood how well I treated her. Of course, even if I made her angry, it wouldn't be a big deal. It was just part of daily life. She was now gradually accepting me. She thought that perhaps one day I really could achieve everything I said I would. She was willing to believe and to wait. Sigh, I know, you silly child, take good care of yourself too. 4 children. It's hard work, Mom said, stroking Bai Susu's cheek, her eyes full of affection. She really liked this girl. She hoped her son would be successful and marry Susu as soon as possible. I'm fine. Auntie and Auntie May have worked so hard during this time, and Yi Fan, you've all been busy with everything. I haven't done anything at all. Wasn't it true? For the past month, it had been Yi Fan busy with everything, along with Mother Yi and Auntie May. She really hadn't done anything, so how could it be considered hard work? Silly child, we're all family, why distinguish so clearly? You should hurry up and say yes to my Yi Fan. I just love you as a child, Mom said, hugging Bai Susu, her eyes full of tenderness. In the past, she had wanted a daughter, but unfortunately, she had Yi Fan. Now, Bai Susu was like half a daughter to her, so it wasn't a loss. She hoped her son would work harder. Auntie! Bai Susu's face turned red. These words really made her shy, especially coming from an elder. However, Mother Ye's embrace was truly warm. It gave Bai Susu a taste of maternal love. She had never experienced such warmth before, but she was experiencing it now. It was because of Yi Fan that she was experiencing this. At this moment, Bai Susu really envied me for having such a good mother. It made her crave Mother Yi's warmth. All right, I won't meddle in your business. If you're ever wronged in the future, just tell me. You have my contact info. Don't worry, I'll back you up. That's great. Bai Susu reached out and hugged Mother Yi. Why wasn't her own mother like Mother Yi? But perhaps one day, Mother Yi really would become her mother. Seeing this scene, I was both annoyed and amused. I was the one who was Mom's son. Why did it feel like I was the outsider? Seeing the two of them getting along so well, I felt very satisfied deep down. I felt a bit envious of such a warm scene. Mom really liked Bai Susu, so I absolutely had to marry her. Mom, do I look like the type of person who would bully Susu? You're making it sound like I'm not a good person. I looked at my mother resentfully. She really didn't trust her own son. Now that these two had each other's contact info, wouldn't Bai Susu be able to report on me? This was a dangerous situation. It seemed I'd have to keep a low profile in the future. It's not. Looking like it, you've never been a good person. Mom's face was very serious, and her tone was certain. If my son were a good person, how would Susu have babies now? But fortunately, he knew how to take responsibility. If I knew what Mom was thinking, I really would have spit blood in anger. After all, I was helpless in that situation too. I had drunk too much, and I forgot what happened afterward. I stopped looking for trouble and went to see the kids. The four little ones were staring at the ceiling and playing, kicking their arms and legs. They were exceptionally well behaved and didn't cry at all. Are we about to run out of formula? I said suddenly. 2 days ago, when I was fixing bottles for the kids, I felt we were running low. Yes, almost. We need to buy some tomorrow. Bai Susu nodded and said, all right then. Tomorrow when I drop Mom off, I'll buy some formula on the way. The system didn't reward formula this time, so I had to buy it myself. The next day, after I saw Mom off at the station, I drove my car to a baby formula store. Unexpectedly, I ran into my ex-girlfriend, Liu Ruyan. Hello, sir. How can I help you? A female sales clerk walked over with a smile. This boy looked so young. She didn't expect him to be a father already. The babies are just a month old. Oh, and I need to buy some other necessities. You can help me introduce some. It's my first time buying formula. Just recommend whichever is best. Money is no object, I said quite arrogantly. Sir, you really are generous. Please come this way. The sales clerk, in her 20s, smiled instantly. This customer was very interesting and quite humorous. I followed the sales clerk inside, my eyes fixed on the prices on the counter. There were so many types, some for $100 or $200 a can, and some for $700 or $800. They all seemed a bit cheap to me. Sir, since it's your first time here, let me introduce them to you. Formula is divided into goat milk, cow milk, camel milk, and so on. These are what's available on the market, and each has different effects. I listened. Good grief. There were so many tricks to baby formula. I hadn't even heard of many of these types. My family has quadruplets, and we don't have enough food for them. They've just finished their first month, so just tell me directly which one is better to eat. I smiled a bit awkwardly. The clerk was saying so much at once that I couldn't remember it all. Let me introduce these few to you. Are they all stage 1? That is, formula for babies up to 6 months old. The sales clerk smiled. New dads these days never seem to know these things. 1 can of formula might last 1 baby a week, but for 4 babies, it would be gone in 2 or 3 days. I'd need to buy dozens of cans. Give me the cow milk formula and the camel milk formula. Certainly, sir. This cow milk formula is 1,000 per can, and the camel milk formula is 1,300 per can. Would you like to sign up for a membership at our store? Once you have enough points, we can give you many baby prizes. Sure, 10 cans of cow milk formula, 5 cans of camel milk formula. Also, give me 20 packs of your better diapers, and 10 sets of those full-month baby clothes. I want them for girls. 4 baby hats, 30 packs of 80-count baby wipes, and 5 cans of prickly heat powder. That's all for now. Could you help me carry these to the car? I'll go open the trunk. When the clerks in the store heard this, they were instantly stunned. Good grief, they really had met a generous person. Buying so many things at once, they all felt a bit envious of this young man's wife. This young dad was so good to the children. Sir, the total is $38,000. Will you be paying by card or cash? This was a major client, buying so much at once. Card, I said, pulling out a bank card and handing it over. The clerk who handled the transaction smiled brilliantly. The commission would be great. She was thrilled. This boy looked very ordinary and was dressed simply. She didn't expect him to be a rich second generation. He was truly low profile. Rich kids these days are so humble. Sir, your total is $38,000. We can give you an 1.8-meter brown bear as a gift. Actually, I didn't really want a big stuffed animal gift, but I thought girls should like this kind of thing. It would be perfect to give to Bai Susu. She'd surely be very happy to see it. Soon, I saw a girl about 1.6 meters tall carrying a large brown bear out. This bear was clearly 1.8 meters tall. Good grief, what a huge bear. If you were to buy this, it would cost $800 or $900. But Bai Susu would definitely be happy to see this. What girl could refuse such a cute thing? Sir, this 1.8 meter brown bear is yours. Thank you for spending $38,000 at our store. We hope you'll visit often, the cashier said with a smile. I felt truly good hearing this. This girl really knew how to talk. Thank you, I will. I took the 1.8 meter brown bear and expressed my thanks. Sir, can I ask if you are a rich second generation? A girl who was helping carry things asked hesitantly. She knew she shouldn't ask such things, but her curiosity got the better of her. I am the father of a rich second generation. I was stunned for a moment. I didn't expect her to ask that, but I answered naturally. Wasn't it true? If I worked hard, I'd be the father of rich kids. My daughters would be the rich second generation, and I would be their father. Just as I put the things into the car, I heard a familiar voice. Yi Fan! My body jolted, and I slowly turned around to see a gaudily dressed Liu Ruyan. That's right, it was Liu Ruyan, my ex-girlfriend from a month ago. I didn't expect to meet her here. I didn't see it wrong, it really is you. Yi Fan, what are you doing here? This is the entrance to a mother and baby store. I just saw you stuff a huge brown bear into the car. Is this your car? You're just a poor kid? Where did you get the money? This car costs over $700,000. You can actually afford such an expensive car? At this moment, Liu Ruyan was shocked. She didn't expect that after not seeing him for a month, Yi Fan had not only become more handsome, but also so wealthy. To be willing to buy a $700,000 car, he must have millions in savings to dare buy it. What on earth had Yi Fan experienced this past month? How could he transform into a rich person in the blink of an eye? Had she misjudged him back then? Could Yi Fan have won the lottery? But the lottery isn't that easy to win. Or maybe Yi Fan had been faking being poor before, when he was actually a rich second generation from some big enterprise. Liu Ruyan felt she had been so blind to miss out on me like that. No, it wasn't too late yet. We'd only been broken up for a month. We could still get back together. Besides, if she could pursue him once before, what was wrong with doing it a second time? As long as he was a wealthy, rich second generation, pursuing him any number of times was no problem. That fortune teller was really accurate. She must have been possessed back then to want to break up. What does it have to do with you? I folded my arms, my expression cold. This woman had nothing to do with me anymore. It was none of her business where my money came from. Yi Fan, I know you were very sad when we broke up. Actually, I was very sad too. At this moment, Liu Ruyan immediately looked at me aggrievedly. Oh, really? I raised an eyebrow. This woman really knew how to act. Did she really think I was still the same fool I was before? Yes. For the past month, Ruyan hasn't been able to eat or sleep. She's been very sad, self-reproachful, and regretful all day long. She still loves you, Zhao Sui said, looking at me. I don't see it. Liu Ruyan, you've gained weight, and you're wearing a camisole and mini shorts with glamorous makeup. To me, it looks like you're ready to go out and have fun. I looked Liu Ruyan up and down. I wasn't blind. How could I not see that this was not the look of someone who was sad? Was I really that easy to fool? Yi Fan, I'm not. I just came out to clear my head. It has indeed been very painful these days. Zhao Shui saw it and comforted me. She brought me out shopping today and even did my makeup for me. So don't be angry anymore, okay? Can we go back to how we were before? Liu Ruyan looked at me very aggrievedly, her mouth pouted in an innocent look. She seemed a bit nervous. She never expected this scene to occur. If she had known back then, she definitely would have held on to me tightly and never let go. Looking at this luxury car, she was really using her thick skin now. She was losing a lot of face today, but as long as she could get back together with Yi Fan, she would be the biggest winner. Yeah, I'm the one who made Ruyan change into these. She's been very sad lately, and I've been the one comforting her. Since you've met, why don't you have a good talk? If you clear things up, you might even get back together. Look at how good this car is. If Yi Fan and Liu Ruyan got back together, she could sit in this car too. She and Liu Ruyan were best friends, so naturally, she had to help her. Alright, have you acted enough? I suddenly laughed. Back then, I thought I'd spoken a bit too harshly, thinking maybe I'd misunderstood her for being materialistic. Now, it was a proven fact. Yi Fan, what do you mean? Liu Ruyan said, looking at me with a hurt expression. She looked as if she had been abandoned. Yifan, Ruyan already knows she was wrong. Can't you give her another chance? Zhao Shui said again. Damn it, this Yifan is really not easy to fool. Enough. Don't be an eyesore. I looked at Liu Ruyan coldly, my expression indifferent. Did she still want to play me for a fool? I wouldn't fall into the same pit twice. Besides, I now had Bai Susu and 4 adorable children. How could I possibly get back together with Liu Ruyan? Even the thought of being entangled with her made me feel sick. I was a man with a family now, so naturally I couldn't be involved with any other woman. I loved Bai Susu and the kids, so I wouldn't do anything to betray them. I turned to leave. At this time, Zhao Sui gave Liu Ruyan a look, and Liu Ruyan understood immediately, grabbing my sleeve. Yifan, I was really wrong. Please forgive me just this once. Liu Ruyan held my sleeve and said, crying, her glamorous makeup was starting to smudge. Yifan, look, Ruyan really knows she was wrong. Just forgive her this once. Zhao Sui was also pleading from the side. How could Yifan's heart be so hard? Anyone else would have softened by now. Let go. I looked at Liu Rock, my voice like shards of ice. Was Liu Rox doing this on purpose? I didn't expect her to become so difficult. I won't let go unless you get back together with me. Liu Ruyan cried out, her tone very firm. She couldn't let this opportunity pass. If she let go, they really might never get back together. Liu Ruyan, I didn't expect your thick skin to have improved. Do you think I have no options if you don't let go? I directly ripped off the sleeve Liu Ruyan was holding and got into the car to leave without looking back. Liu Ruyan was stunned, staring at the piece of fabric in her hand. Yifan had actually left just like that. The people around began to point and stare. Naturally, they could see what was happening. Nothing more than the trick of a materialistic girl wanting to get back with a boy after he became rich. They all looked at Liu Ruyan with disdain. Ruyan, let's go. Everyone around is watching. We've lost face this time. Let's go. Zhao Shui stepped forward, grabbed Liu Ruyan, and left. Liu Ruyan still had a look of disbelief. She didn't expect I would treat her so heartlessly. What had she, Liu Ruyan, done wrong? Why treat her so heartlessly? So what if she was a little materialistic? Who doesn't want to find a good, wealthy boyfriend? Was she wrong? Why, even when she knew she was wrong and went to seek forgiveness, did it end like this? On the other side, I was driving toward home. I sighed slightly and put all those messy matters behind me. I found a secluded place and took the robots the system gave me out of the car. When I reached the apartment building, I composed myself, got out of the car, and took all the things out. There were so many bags, and then these 2 robots. I thought to myself, should I change houses? After all, this place was inconvenient without an elevator. I was now worth over 10 billion. I should get a villa to live in. Yifan, let me help you carry things. And these 2 robots, what do we do with them? At this time, Bai Susu appeared beside me. She had heard the sound of a car in the community just now. She looked out from the balcony and saw my car, so she immediately ran down. Naturally, the babies had already eaten and were asleep, so she dared to come down. Otherwise, she would have been worried. Why did you come down? It's fine, I can manage this. I'm a bit worried about the kids being home alone. I was surprised to see her come down, but a flash of joy crossed my eyes. I didn't expect Bai Susu to care more and more about me. This was a good thing. My efforts were being rewarded, but thinking of the children made me worry. I knew you'd be worried. The kids are all asleep, so coming out for a little bit is fine. Let's just go back quickly, Bai Susu said, taking some of the bags from my hands. You still need to be careful with your body. I can handle these. You go up first. I'll be heartbroken if you get tired, I said with a smile. I came down specifically to help you. It's fine, my body is okay, I've recovered well. Bai Susu's eyes were full of tenderness. Gradually, she had accepted me in her heart. All right then, you take the diapers and the little clothes. I'll take the formula. These robots have legs. I'll set them up, and they should be able to go up the stairs. Actually, I wasn't sure if these robots could do it. However, I'd let Bai Susu carry the light things. If it were heavy, I really couldn't bear to let her get tired. Okay, I'll go up first so I don't leave the kids for too long. With that, Bai Susu took the babies, clothes, and diapers and went up. Once she was gone, I looked at the robots with some difficulty. System, how do I set these up? I'm not gonna have to carry these 2 household butler robots up, am I? At this moment, the system's voice sounded in my mind. No need for that trouble. Your identity has already been programmed in, so you only need to give them commands to use them. I found it a bit incredible. It's that simple? I followed the system's prompts to operate them. The next second, the butler robots' eyes lit up. Hello, Master, I am Yuan Yuan, at your service. Hello, Master, I am Gungun, at your service. The robots' large round heads turned and their soft, milky voices simply melted my heart. You two go upstairs on your own. You can make it to the 3rd floor, right? I said a bit hesitantly. I really hadn't heard of robots being able to climb stairs. I'd heard of them vacuuming and such. Host, do not worry. These are high-tech household butler robots with a slight level of consciousness. They can automatically identify everything around them. Hearing the system's words, I breathed a sigh of relief. I was just being ignorant. This was high technology. Nothing was impossible. I saw the 2 robots bend over, pick up the bags of formula from the ground, and walk up. They climbed the stairs step by step without a single pause. I was stunned. Robots could automatically identify things and carry them. Fine, I was behind the times. Their stair climbing speed was even better than mine. In the blink of an eye, the robots were out of sight. Where did Ye Fan get such amazing robots? Their cute, round appearance was exceptionally magical. Bai Susu liked these 2 robots from the first moment she saw them, but she had never seen such robots before. She suddenly felt I was amazing. I could always bring surprises. The 2 robots stood at the door looking at the beautiful girl. Their heads turned and their blue eyes flashed as they recorded Bai Susu's appearance. Yuan Yuan greets the mistress. Gungun greets the mistress, the 2 robots said in unison. Their soft little boy voices sounded in Bai Susu's ears. Bai Susu laughed instantly and reached out to stroke the robots' large heads, her eyes full of affection. She liked the title, Mistress. Come in, you cute little things. Hee hee. The 2 robots smiled and entered the house, placing the formula on the cabinet. Then they started walking around every room to understand the environment. Bai Susu watched the feet of the 2 robots turn into wheels as they moved around the house. The sound was very, very faint and wouldn't attract any attention. Did these wheels have noise cancellation? This was high technology. Had such robots really been developed? Bai Susu couldn't help but ponder. She knew I had many secrets, but since I didn't say them, there must be a reason, so she wouldn't ask. I'm back, I climbed up. Hearing my voice, Bai Susu covered her mouth and laughed. Even with empty hands, you're not as fast as the 2 robots. Can't help it. I also think these butler robots run too fast. I can't keep up, I said with a laugh. This was the truth. What happened to your sleeve? Bai Susu asked in shock. It was fine when I went out. How did it end up like this in such a short time? It's nothing, don't worry. I smiled and stroked Bai Susu's head. I wouldn't mention the matter with Lu Ruyan to avoid her overthinking it. As long as you're okay. Bai Susu turned into the living room and poured a glass of water for me. You've worked hard. Have some water. Thank you, wife, I said gently. My wife was becoming more and more thoughtful. I felt our relationship had taken another step forward. Thinking of this, I felt even more motivated. Now both robots were in the baby's room. When Bai Susu walked in, she saw the 2 robots guarding the 4 little ones. They were exceptionally quiet. However, at this moment, a fly flew in from somewhere and zipped toward the 4 little babies. Just as Bai Susu was about to do something, she saw the robot Yuan Yuan turn its head and raise its hand, extending 2 fingers to directly catch the fly. Whoa, amazing! Bai Susu was stunned. This was a robot? This was a robot that knew Kung Fu. She saw Yuan Yuan produce a piece of tissue from somewhere, wrap the fly in it, turn around and throw it in the trash, and then wipe its hands. So human-like. Bai Susu felt like there might be a soul living inside these robots. Otherwise, how could they be so similar to people? No, even more capable than people. Seeing the robot Yuan Yuan return to its original position to guard the children, Bai Susu felt a wave of warmth, and of course, a full sense of security. With them taking care of her children, she seemed much more at ease and could go to school with peace of mind. But thinking of leaving everything to me, she still felt a bit bad for me. Sigh, what's wrong? I walked in and looked at the robots Yuan Yuan and Gungun, nodding with satisfaction. Not bad, not bad. Products from the system are always high quality. They were truly too smart. The system said these 2 robots had a slight self-consciousness, so they knew what to do and what not to do. This would save me a lot of trouble. Nothing, I just think these two robots are too smart. By the way, Yuan Yuan and Gungun are so smart and have so much spirit. Truly, these robots made her feel the magic of technology. Of course, she also knew these were man-made robots, giving her a new awareness of high technology. Modern science and civilization were truly amazing. Do you like them? I asked softly, afraid that Bai Susu wouldn't be able to accept this kind of high technology for a while. I do, Bai Susu nodded and said. She really liked them. Taking care of the babies would be more convenient and safer this way. She'd just seen that the robot knew Kung Fu. As long as you like them, they belong to us, I said, taking Bai Susu's small hand. Liking them was important since we'd see them every day. Yifan, I want to go to school tomorrow, Bai Susu said, looking at me. She still wanted to hear my opinion. She couldn't be selfish. If she went to school, everything with the children would be left to me. So she still wanted to see my attitude. Although I had said before that she should go to classes after her confinement, that was in the past, and things might have changed. Or maybe I had just been saying it. She wanted to confirm. Go ahead. I said before, once you're out of confinement, go if you want to. Don't worry about the kids. You have me. Besides, don't I have these two robots to help me? So don't worry. What was this silly girl worrying about? How could I forget what I said? I'm not the type of person to go back on my word, but if it's just you alone, it'll be very hard. What should we do? Bai Susu was very conflicted internally. It's fine, go ahead, I can do it. You have to believe in me. I'm planning to look at houses recently and buy a villa. Then I'll bring my parents to the city. It'll be lively, and I can fulfill my filial duties. Buying a villa sounds good. Then I can meet auntie and uncle too. Yifan, actually, I already have feelings for you. I hope we can be together happily in the future. As for my family's side, we'll face them together. There will be a way. Besides, I really don't want to give up on you and the children. I really love everything I have now. The children are great, you're great, Auntie Yi is great, and I believe Uncle Yi is great too. So if we get along well, we can definitely get my family's recognition and blessing. The marriage I want is one with the recognition and blessing of my family. So can you promise me? Bai Susu looked at me with a burning gaze. This was the family she wanted. Don't worry, I will work hard to get your family's recognition and blessing. I won't let you down or let you lose face. I promise I will work hard. For you, the children, my parents, and our future, I promise I will work hard for your family's recognition. Thank you for being willing to give me this chance, I said happily, hugging Bai Susu. At this moment, I felt so happy. Nothing could make me more excited than Bai Susu saying yes to me. We are a family. We will get my family's recognition together. Being with me now, Bai Susu felt she had greater courage to face her family. This was a responsibility for both of them. She wouldn't let me work hard alone. She would work even harder to fight for our happiness. After saying all this, Bai Susu felt a lot lighter instantly. It turned out she had long since fallen for the boy in front of her. Bai Susu had just finished her shower, and her hair was wet. If you don't dry your hair, you'll get sick easily, I said heartrendingly while drying her hair. This girl's hair was really nice and smooth. Thank you. She didn't know what to say, but her face said it all. She looked very bashful. It was the first time a boy had dried her hair, and so gently at that. Yifan, how can you be so gentle? Her feelings for me were deepening bit by bit. It's my first time drying a girl's hair. If I hurt you, remember to tell me. When I was at home, I often saw my dad drying my mom's hair. Watching them, I learned. Of course, I also envied their relationship. I didn't expect to be able to do this myself one day. Hearing my words, Bai Susu's heart felt even sweeter. It turned out she had been my preference all along. She just didn't know it. What girl doesn't want to be the preference of her loved one? She was no different. This was truly great. Yifan, our family will surely overcome the difficulties and be together forever, right? Now she was very greedy for this happiness. She was also afraid it was all a dream. A dream that would shatter. Of course. You have to believe in your husband. What is this silly girl thinking? I could feel her fear. With me around, I would definitely protect them. You sure know how to take advantage of me. Bai Susu's face turned red as she spoke bashfully. This guy was so wicked, always teasing her. What, does the lady not like it? My eyes were full of mirth. Bai Susu was left speechless by the teasing. If she said she didn't like it, would it make him unhappy? But in her heart, she actually liked it. Oh no, Bai Susu, how did you become like this? Are you still the same person? No, you're not. After I finished drying Bai Susu's hair, I went to take a bath. I finished quickly, and then I remembered there was still a giant bear in the car. My memory was really something else. I took the keys and went downstairs to carry the 1.8-meter brown bear up. I'd forgotten the bear, but fortunately it was in the car where no one could take it. When I walked in, Bai Susu happened to be coming out. Her eyes lit up instantly at the sight of the huge bear. What a huge brown bear! How can it be so cute? In the past, many people had given her gifts, but she never accepted them because those people had nothing to do with her. But now it was different. Now I was the one she had chosen. One look and you could tell she liked it. Her eyes were literally glowing. As expected, girls all love these plush toys. I love it. I can hug it to sleep at night. Bai Susu came up to me, her eyes sparkling, her beautiful face lit up with a brilliant smile. She didn't expect I would give her this. But why hadn't she seen it before? Had he just gone down to get this just to give her a surprise? Then when are you going to hug me? I teased with a three-part wicked smile. Hugging a giant bear to sleep instead of me? How could that be allowed? Big baddie! Bai Susu's face turned red, her eyes full of playful annoyance. She snatched the giant bear from my hands and carried it back to the room, leaving me with a stylish view of her back. Looking at this, I couldn't help but rub my nose. A bit awkward. Susu wasn't angry, was she? I should be more careful next time. Seeing this girl hugging the bear, she wasn't as tall or as large as the bear. The contrast was just too cute. I laughed brilliantly and followed immediately. Coming to the bedroom, I saw she had already placed the giant bear on the bed, far from the children. The children had their own separate beds anyway, or it really wouldn't have fit. This big bear still has some impact on the kids. It's safer to keep it a bit further away, don't you think, Yifan? Bai Susu looked at her handiwork and nodded with satisfaction. I nodded. Yes, whatever the wife says is right. She is my wife. Whatever she says is correct and not subject to question. Then if I say, poop is fragrant, would you believe it? Bai Susu rolled her eyes and said crossly, look at this guy, already knowing how to flatter her. That's too much. I was instantly stunned. Agreeing with her was also wrong? But as for that, I really didn't know.